And we're live.
Oh shit, we're live.
Yep.
Hello.
I wanted to catch you off guard.
Okay, keeping me on my toes, are you?
Yes. I don't think I need you on your toes. You're too tall already, so don't.
Thank you.
Was that a compliment?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm tall.
Who cares if you're tall? You know, when you're 5 feet as a girl, anybody's tall to you.
Yeah.
You look like you have gangrene on your face, by the way.
I do. I've come down with the case of gangrene. This is what the stream's about. I only have 3 weeks to live.
What's that weird thing that, like, they used to get back in the day where their skin would fall off? Leprosy? It was leprosy, right? Like, their limbs and shit would just, like, disintegrate off.
Have you ever seen that Monty Python sketch where there's a leper, but he's being cured, and he's still begging on the streets, and he's like they're all going, you know, gives a penny for a leper and all that, and he's like, penny for an ex-leper. And he's going for an ex-leper, and he's like, well, I don't need to give you money.
Oh, that's gross, but I do love Monty Python.
Yeah.
I love Monty Python. So, do you want to start with Radiohead first?
Go ahead.
Hold on. Oh, we just did. My head was being cut off the top. Not very professional. You know what I'm saying? Because I really care.
Yeah.
All right. So, you tell me first what your songs are.
The 5 songs.
What your favorite songs are on AMNESIAC.
Oh, AMNESIAC.
Yes.
All right, let me get rid of.
You don't remember? I thought you've listened to it so much that you should just know them by now.
All right, smart ass.
I guess you just don't like Radiohead that much, huh?
Here we go. Here we start. She's fucking testing me again.
Yeah.
I would say you and Hugh's Army. I might be wrong because the guitar riff's just massive.
It's so good. That's a good song.
Yeah, and then it's either between Pyramid Song and Monobrow.
Okay, let me go to the album.
I'll probably pick Pyramid Song.
So, the thing that struck me about this one is that first song, Pack Like Sardines in a... what is it called? Pack Like Sardines in a crush can. That song sounds like something you would hear on an album called OK Computer.
Oh, have you listened to it, have you?
No, I haven't. But just based on the way that it sounds, it seems more matchy-matchy with that. Like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, am I listening to the wrong album? Because it's all like, boop, 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 bam, 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 bam.
What I was going to tell you before was that, from what I've read, AMNESIAC was basically a bunch of leftover songs from the Kid A.
Oh, yeah, they were going to make it a double disc, but they said it was too dense.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's what I remember reading. It's been a while since I've read up on it, but because OK Computer, the sound of it, if you actually listen to the album, you would think that Kid A would have been called OK Computer because of the production and the instruments used and all the rest of it. But OK Computer's like almost like a prog rock album. It's like really big and like
big band.
Yeah,
big bandy. Yeah. It's that last song, Life in a Glass House,
which is very pretty.
It's all right. That's my least favorite song on the album, actually.
You think?
You know why? Because of the way that the music crawls, it just makes it feel more like time is going so slow. You know what I mean? Like, that song sounds to me what time crawling sounds like. And not time crawling in like a good way where you're enjoying the moment, but it's kind of like dragging a little bit, like your feet are dragging.
Like when you have anticipation anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's a perfect way to explain it. Definitely. What did you say? Anticipation anxiety. I was going to say participation anxiety. Whoops. My bad. I'm retired.
You're retired.
You are tired. I love Knives Out. That was another one I really liked. You and Who's Army. For me, it's between Knives Out and You and Who's Army. Morning
your last
Bell's
favorite?
good too. Morning Bell.
Sorry, one sec.
It's all right.
Just get this.
You fuck.
But you're the one who fucking started.
It's all right. We're just chilling. It's not a big deal. Hi, Gaby.
Is Gabe here?
Yes.
The
Radiohead's.
musos are
He
right.
said Radiohead's entire discography is top notch. Not too many bands can compare. I've heard that from a lot of people. A lot of people are big fans of Radiohead. I remember. Do you remember Mark? He's from Montreal.
I remember. Yeah.
He was a big Radiohead fan.
That was one of the reasons me and him used to talk quite a lot. Like,
Oh,
we just
really?
talk about Radiohead and like send each other stuff. Like
Aw.
I remember him sending me because Radiohead, they used to have a website where they would like put like videos of like behind the scene videos or like demo recordings with video up and stuff like that. Like this was years ago, and Mark would send me stuff. Like there was an acoustic version of Mr. Magpie, which is another one of my favorite Radiohead songs. But that acoustic version is so cool. Like just what he's doing. It must be in a different tuning, I think, the guitar. But yeah, what he does with that is great. And like what the actual song became was completely different than that acoustic version, which is actually even more mind blowing. But yeah, he sent me a bunch of stuff that I hadn't seen before, and like we talked about that documentary that I told you need to watch. Meeting People is Easy, which is like a Radiohead tour documentary, and I've heard interviews with I think it was Tom York. He said we basically put that out to stop people from wanting to be in like a big famous band because it makes you realize like how like doing interviews, same questions over and over.
Yeah. But that's really being any public persona, right? Because look at the people we listen to. How many times was Christopher Hitchens asked the same question again and again? How many times are comedians asked the same question again and again? Tell me your story. Where did you start? What's your origin? What's your this? What's your that? Where do you get your inspiration? Like, artists get the same fucking questions again and again. And it's kind of weird because it's like, once you have one interview and all those things are covered,
yeah,
it's gotta drive you crazy, right?
Oh yeah, there's two moments that like stick out to me with musicians handling interviews perfect, and one is Lou Reed, and I think he's in Paris or something. He's not in America, he's in Europe somewhere, and he's being interviewed, and he's just handling the interviewers like they're trying to catch him, make him slip up, trying to get him to like, you know, say the wrong thing, and he's just handling them like nothing. And then the other one is Bob Dylan. I think it was around the time of like his first or second European tour, like, you know, after he became big, and there's just some great clips of him speaking to the press because he's fucking with them, and then he's like really matter of fact, and like there's some like crazy fans in the
Of course.
in like in the press junket, and they're like, oh, one of them's like this hippie with this like Russian hat on, and he's going like, I see that you use the imagery of motorcycles quite a lot in your songs. Like, is there anything like important about that? And he just goes, I like motorcycles. And the hippie's like, yeah, I do too. And it just kind of drops.
Yeah. Because they're always, it's like people are expecting some profound, like, oh, I used to take them apart and rebuild them and like have some weird connection to the music type thing. But sometimes it's like, I just like apples.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, yeah. You just like the imagery of something. That's it.
Okay, I'm going to look at the Wikipedia article.
Oh shit, that's something else I need to get up as well.
It's okay, I can just read it to you. You're used to me speaking at you anyways. AMNESIAC is the fifth studio album by English rock band Radiohead, released in June 2001 by Parlophone, which is that's obviously their record label. Recorded with producer Nigel Godrich, alongside Radiohead's previous album Kid A. Amnesiac incorporates similar influences of electronic music, 20th century classical music, and krautrock. I did hear violins in there quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, the other thing as well is, what's the song name? It's I think it's like Spinning Plates or Hunting Bears, and it's very jazzy. From what and like, I mean, you can consider jazz some form of class, like 21st century or 20th century.
Which one did you say?
It's either hunting birds or like
hunting bears.
Or like skinning.
Oh yeah, it has that really cool kind of guitar plucking in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just played it.
Sorry.
I'm definitely gonna get some claims, but they can go fuck themselves. I don't care.
You just played it? Oh,
yeah,
by
for
the
like
way,
5 seconds.
You know the way we were wondering about playing music on Twitch?
Yes.
Anthony Fantano does a whole live stream where he just plays people's music.
But
and he reviews it in time and plays the music.
So as long as you're reviewing it, it's fine? We should definitely find out. Because it would really suck if we started Twitch and then we got banned. And everybody's getting banned right now. There was a big like Twitcher who just got in trouble. Wasn't Chris telling us like some guy who was playing music on Twitch got his account totally banned for that reason because they were cracking down on it the particular week that we decided, hey, we can go to Twitch and we can listen to music, of course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, it could be if you bring in a big audience, they kind of let you go, but let it go. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, the person to ask would be Anthony Fantano, but I don't think he'd respond to my messages. So, I mean, I've sent him plenty of music. Well, no. I've sent him two songs like years ago, but you know, he hasn't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. So, where was I? Only one track was recorded after the Kid A sessions, Life in a Glass House, a collaboration with the Humphrey Littleton Band. Yeah, that was definitely my least favorite song. I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't like it.
Is it the one that's like, it's really free form? There's no real song structure to it. I think that's the one.
It starts off really pretty, though. But it's just like, I don't know, something about it just makes me feel uneasy. And it is kind of the slow pace. That the piano keys in that one are kind of make me feel like, ugh, kind of weird too.
Maybe that's what they were going for, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, if that's what they're going for, they did a great job. Like, that's just the feeling I get. And it's not like I haven't got that uneasy kind of off-kilter feeling off of stuff before. I mean, definitely Trent has lots of songs that are just like, they have like really screechy kind of sounds, or like, and it's just for a very brief second, but it's one of those things that's like kind of like a dog whistle, you know, you hear it and you're like, eh.
Oh yeah, it doesn't hit the ear right.
Yeah,
really high frequencies. Yeah,
and that's something he's like known to do as well. Let's see, where is it? The album was promoted with the commercial singles Pyramid Song. Hold on, let me play this for 5 seconds because I forgot. Oh yeah, I like this song too. This is a really good song too. Those keys in the beginning. Bam, 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 bam.
Oh, the chord choice is beautiful. Yeah.
It's so nice. I do like that one. And Knives Out, which I think, that's so hard to pick. Accompanied by music videos, it debuted at #1 on the UK Albums Chart and #2 on the US Billboard 200. By October 2008, it had sold over 900,000 copies worldwide. It is certified platinum in Canada and the US and A.
I mean, that's a pretty big achievement. Not a lot of UK bands, especially in the genre that Radiohead are a part of or are active in. They don't really get that kind of achievement in the US. Like, you know, it's crazy to think how big Radiohead really are, even in the US. It's usually Europeans that kind of lift up bands like that.
But there's so many UK artists that are huge here.
Yeah, but like, you know, getting #2 in the US charts and things like that, it's rare.
I guess like in comparison to like a US band, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. They're very well, I mean, I think one of the few kind of, I mean, they're an Irish band, but U2 are really big.
I love U2. And Coldplay.
No. Coldplay.
They're so
Chris
good.
Martin.
He is excellent. Leave him alone.
Yeah, of course, he's good at what he does, but it just doesn't. it doesn't hit me right. And but you
Oh, I
too.
want to talk about that. I want to talk about why it doesn't hit you right one day, because that would be fun.
Yeah, but you too. They've got a song, Bloody Sunday, which I think is an amazing
Sunday,
song.
Bloody Sunday. Yeah, it's about.
There you go.
Yeah, I know that song. Of course, it's
Yeah.
it talks about a very tumultuous time in history. A particular event, anyway. So, this album. Though it disappointed some hoping for a return of Radiohead's earlier rock sound, AMNESIAC received mainly positive reviews and was named one of the year's best albums by numerous publications. It was nominated for the Mercury Prize, whatever the fuck that is, and several Grammys, winning for Best Recording Package. What does recording package mean?
It got a Grammy for Best Recording Package. It could be to do with how they presented the album, maybe artwork and accompanying music videos, and it could be that. But I don't know. I'd have to look up that. But the Mercury music is like a big UK thing.
Okay.
By the way.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. I didn't know that. Pyramid Song was ranked one of the best tracks of the decade by Rolling Stone, The Enemy, and Pitchfork. That's pretty crazy. Of the decade?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that decade isn't really packed with that much good music, is it? You know what I mean?
The 2000s?
Comparatively.
Compared to the 90s? Yeah, I agree.
Comparatively, like, 90s, 80s, the further you go back, then it gets harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, 90s. I mean, in terms of like bands that were big in the early 2000s, like, I mean, who else are they really going up against? Like, other than like, mainstream pop acts, and then like Coldplay, Muse.
Coldplay's huge.
Arctic Monkeys, and things like that.
Wait,
Monkeys.
Who did you say before that? Arctic Monkeys?
Muse.
Are they a UK
Arctic
band?
Monkeys. Arctic Monkeys.
No,
yeah.
Muse.
Muse, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were American.
Nah, they came out. I think they came out roughly the same, like just after. I think they started getting big like after OK Computer got big, because what's his name? Matthew something.
The guy?
Matt something. The lead singer of Muse.
The guy?
He's got that very high falsetto voice like Tom York.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think they were both influenced by Jeff Buckley. I know Tom York went and saw Jeff Buckley live, and that gave him kind of the kind of confidence to just let go and sing very big, because Buckley is an amazing singer, but people always point out, like, when he sings live, sometimes he's a little bit pitchy and stuff, because he just gets so wild. But in my opinion, he's like greatest male singer of all time.
Whoa, really? Where's he from?
Buckley, he's from America.
No, but like band wise, or is it just Jeff Buckley?
Jeff Buckley. Well, so he started out playing like acoustic live just around like New York. So it was just him really, and then he'd also play electric and sing at the same time. And then he got a band around him, and he put out this album called Grace, which is like considered one of the best albums as well. And it's like, imagine, Led Zeppelin, right? Imagine
who's Led Zeppelin?
Jimmy Page, the guitar player, and Robert Plant, the singer. Imagine somebody smashed those two people together. Like, that's what Jeff Buckley is. He's got this huge voice like Robert Plant, but in my opinion, he can get really delicate and beautiful like Robert Plant can't. And then he's much more creative than I think Jimmy Page was. Jimmy Page was straight up like, this is blues guitar, but I'm going to do my own thing with it. Like, Jeff Buckley was like, I'm going to do like everything I can, like open tunings and all sorts. But yeah, like that's an album you need to listen to. It's just, it floored me the first time I heard it. Like,
Grace?
The guy can Grace, yeah.
I gotta write that down. I have so much homework already.
You're like Joe Rogan with his fucking notepad, just writing shit
Yeah,
down.
you need that shit. Because if I don't write it down, I'll never fucking get to it. Ouch, my foot. Ow! Sorry.
What the fuck is this woman doing?
My foot cramped.
Ooh, I did I ever tell you about the time I got cramp in my foot in church?
No. Can you?
We were kneeling down, like when you've got it like
Oh, I
right
like
before.
this story already.
All right, stop. So before you take, or after you take Holy Communion,
Yeah.
you have to go back and like kneel down and pray. You have to do like a 5 minute like solo prayer. That's what we
Did
did
the
anyway.
priest grab your pussy?
Yeah, it was Donald Trump.
Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, so I did that, and I think I'd been at like footy training all day, so my hamstring was like cramping up,
Yeah, yeah.
and I felt like getting tighter and tighter, and because I was kneeling down like that, and then the cramp in your hamstring, like it made me go forward.
I hate that.
It made me go forward, but then I went back, and my knee slipped off the little cushion thing that you kneel on, which folds out from behind the bench, and I slipped off that, and my head butted the bench in front of me.
Oh no!
So it's like really quiet in this church, and you just hear bang.
It was your big stupid head.
My big stupid head hitting the bench. Yeah.
How old were you?
I must have been about 12.
Oh, when you were really wee. You were wee when you were young.
Oh yeah, I was little, but my head was big. So.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna read you more.
No pain where there's no sense. Go on.
Nice. Radiohead and producer Nigel Godrich recorded AMNESIAC during the same sessions as its predecessor Kid A, released in October 2000. The sessions took place from January 99 to mid-2000 in Paris, Copenhagen, and in Radiohead's Oxfordshire studio. Drummer Philip Selway said the sessions had two frames of mind: a tension between our old approach of all being in a room playing together, and the other extreme of manufacturing music in the studio. I think AMNESIAC comes out stronger in the band arrangement way. I mean, that's the sense that I got. I felt like it was kind of big and bandy, way more than Kid A.
Yeah, Kid A, they were moving away from that. I think AMNESIAC is a it's
like they veered off in another direction.
Well, it's like in Rainbows, it's got that happy medium feel about it. Like whether you're like the more, band orientated Radiohead stuff, or you're like the more kind of, Kid A, you can tell that it's kind of like, one person brings an idea and they build off that, and they were trying to keep what instruments they used to more electronic stuff, whereas, some more the band orientated stuff, it seems like they really write it together. Like obviously one person's going to come with the idea, but they're willing to move away from that a lot more than they were on Kid A. But Kid A was quite experimental too. But yeah, it's definitely got a more band feel.
It's interesting to compare the three of them in my head right now, because like, as much as I know it's Radiohead, they do sound different. Like all three albums sound different from each other. They bring something different. That's what's fun about. That's what I like about it, I think. You're supposed to experiment with sound and like try different shit. You know what I mean? Or have a motif or have something going on or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think
even if it doesn't work, like the risk is still fun. Like it's interesting they took the risk to add like an actual band. Like they did that collaboration, that last song.
Well, I think as well, that's more like, they feel, because, you look at Sgt. Pepper, the Beatles, like they got to that point in their career where it was like, all right, let's just like, if we want like a orchestra, we'll bring it in. If we want like a brass band, we'll bring it in. And I think Radiohead kind of got to that point around that part of their career where they were like, well, if we have an idea, let's just do it. We've got the money now. We've got the clout. We can do it. So yeah, I think it definitely.
Gabe said AMNESIAC is very jazzy. I agree. It is jazzy. It is jazzy. Yep. And I don't mind jazz, actually. I mean, it's not something that I'll like go out of my way to listen to, but if I hear a jazz song, I'm not like, oh, I hate it, turn it off.
It's funny because I grew up on it because my dad is like obsessed with jazz, and and then he's obsessed with like really weird stuff like Frank Zappa or Captain Beefheart, which is like crazy experimental music. So
Mm-hmm.
like I grew up on a lot of that stuff. So I think that's why I'm really into like pop melody, because it's like I got bombarded with that crazy like free form of music for like the majority of my life, that I like in my own music I ended up moving away from it. But I still love like Frank Zappa's great, and Captain Beefheart's great, and also there's a lot of really cool stuff like there's a couple of really cool Cuban albums that my dad introduced to me to when I
Like
was
the
really
Buena
young.
Vista Social Club. I
Yeah,
actually
that's
listened to them didn't I tell you I listened to them last week? Michael and I were working, and he's like, "You know what album I really like? I like the Buena Vista Social Club." And I was like, "I don't know who that is." And then we played Buena Vista Social Club live from Carnegie Hall. I can't
yeah.
find it on Spotify, but it's on YouTube. And oh my God, it's like so fun. Such good Cuban music. It's like
Yeah, I
wonderful.
I used to when I was like 5 or 6. Apparently, I used to like dance in the garden to it and stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, that album is just, you can put it on anytime and it just makes you feel great because it's got such a good vibe, and it's got a real maturity to it because it's got that traditional Cuban sound, and then the guys playing it, like half of them are like in the 60s, 70s. I think there's even one guy who's like in his 80s on that
Yeah.
album. And it was Ry Cooder, which is an American guitar player, and he went to Cuba to record that album with all these guys that he met. What I've heard about it, there's a documentary about it actually. But yeah, the album version's great as well.
I like that one. Okay. The Sessions. Oops. I just want to read this comment. Gabe is like so into music, and I love it. That's why In Rainbows is my personal fave, because it's the culmination of all the sounds Radiohead did up until that point. It seamlessly blends OK Computer, Kid A, Amnesiac, and The Bends. Is The Bends another album? I haven't listened to that.
That's the first one. That's got like
Oh.
creep and stuff on it. Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
The-
I think I'm just gonna listen to OK Computer just to listen to it. Like,
mm,
I mean, I
I
should
mean,
anyway.
give the bands a listen just to see what it was like. But I don't. That's not an album I listen to a lot. I mean, even OK Computer, I listened to it over and over again when I was like 19. So I kind of
You're over it?
I wanted to. I'm not over it. Like I think some of the stuff's just beautiful. Like, I mean, for the longest, I kind of wanted to write songs like that, but it's impossible as one person. It really is. Like, and also you need to be a genius like those guys as well.
So they write
But
songs collectively too. It's not just Tom York.
yeah, yeah. Well, you've got like, so the Greenwood brothers, so the bass player and one of the other guitar players, like they're both amazing at what they do, like amazing at their craft. Phil, the drummer, is like a really creative drummer, but also he can just be like four on the floor, great stuff. Then Tom has got like a great songwriting knack. I mean, you know, and then O'Brien as well. Like, I mean, they all offer so much that I don't think you can be in that band without being able to offer something. You know, so of course, I think that just naturally happened. But I do think Tom York's probably the main songwriter from what I've. But they've got that attitude where it's like, okay, we put this out and we record it together, so it's kind of like the Doors. The main songwriters in the Doors were, Jim Morrison and Robbie Krieger in terms of like lyrics, but because they all came together to write the songs, it was just every time the song credit it was all their names were there. So
I
think
can't
they're very
remember
much like
names
that.
of any bands unless there's 2 people or less. I can't fucking remember shit. People are constantly throwing names in my face because I like listening to old. I always bug Michael. I'm like, you listen to old white man music. And he's like, well, to be honest with you, Aimee, it's actually the best era of music. So
He's not wrong in a lot of
no,
ways.
he's not. He's not. I just like bugging him. I always bug him that he has white privilege and shit. But we're obviously fucking kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think of the albums that came out between, you know, 60s and 70s, it's pretty crazy. I mean, in you know, in the space of like what 67 or something. So, yeah, like so from the mid 60s to the early 70s, you go from like, you know, hippy dippy like Jefferson Airplane to, you know, the Doors, and then you have like Black Sabbath, you have Iggy Pop and the Stooges. Like that's crazy. Like that jump to happen, it's just ridiculous.
You're
like,
so cute. See, you understand these things. To me, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool, Sean.
I need to brush up on my knowledge, so I'm probably getting a lot of things wrong. But
what are you talking about?
yeah,
you know lots.
the truth.
But anyways, wait, I lost the thing. I want to read more to you.
Just somebody in the comments or something. I know at one point somebody's gonna be like, actually, Iggy Pop and the Stooges released Raw Power in '73, not '72.
Who cares?
Fuck off.
Yeah. Jog on.
Jog on. Did you just say jog on?
Okay.
Get out me eye.
Huh?
Get out me eye.
Get out me eye. Yeah. Okay. I don't remember even where I finished.
You finished at the quote from the drummer. I think AMNESIAC comes out stronger in a band arrangement.
Thank you. Radiohead incorporated influence from electronic music. No, I read this part. Strings arranged by guitarist Johnny Greenwood, who were performed by the Orchestra of St. John's and recorded in Dorchester Abbey, a 12th century church. Whoa, close to Radiohead's studio. That would creep me out, playing music in a church, I gotta say. Churches really creep me out. I bet they sound cool and stuff, but they really creep me out.
We've got the biggest cathedral in the country.
Yeah.
And every time I'm in there, all I want to do is just play my guitar.
Yeah, I bet it sounds awesome.
I don't think they're creepy. I like them.
Churches creep me out. I would like to see a European church because they're old and they've actually been around for a while. But like, I'd still feel like if I walked in there, it'd be like haunted or something. I don't believe in ghosts. Ricky's always telling me, he's like, Scotland's haunted. I'm like, shut up. He's like, seriously, there's so many old buildings there. Like,
yeah,
I bet there's ghosts and shit.
I think it's wishful thinking. You know what I mean? They want that. But
I don't think he's serious.
It's fun to pretend.
Yeah. No, it's not. The sessions produced more than 20 finished tracks. Radiohead considered releasing them as a double album, but felt the material was too dense. Singer Tom York said Radiohead split the work into 2 albums because they cancel each other out as overall finished things. That's a fun quote. They come from 2 different places, I think. In some weird way, I think AMNESIAC gives another take on Kid A, a form of explanation. The band stressed that they saw AMNESIAC not as a collection of B-sides or Kid A outtakes, but an album in its own right. The electronic track Polk Pull Revolving Doors was assembled from loops recorded in the OK Computer sessions, including elements of another Radiohead song, True Love Waits. The band disabled the erase heads on the tape recorder so that the tape repeatedly recorded over itself, creating a ghostly loop. Whoa. Oh my god, that's cool. That's so funny. Re-recording over the same tape. I remember doing that with, like, when I would record the radio over, like, old cassette tapes my parents had. Because I was like, fuck this gay shit. This new song on the radio is better. But I don't have a CD player right now, so I need something for a tape deck.
Yeah, I remember, like, I'd have, like, my favorite, like, film when I was a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd put it into the VHS machine.
Yeah.
And then, like...
the VHS machine!
Like, whatever, video fucking player.
VCR!
So, like, it'd be, like, my favorite movie or some TV show or whatever. And then the next, like, it'd go 10 minutes in and then there'd just be, like, a football game that was recorded.
Oh my god, old technology. I always wanted a record player. I love that sound when you first, like, put the needle on the yeah, it's like the best. I've always wanted to sample that sound at the beginning of a song.
I've showed you. You can get it in Ableton. In Ableton, there's
Ableton.
Fuck you. I've showed you my record player, haven't I?
Yeah, and
It's
your
like
records.
Yeah, it's my dad's old deck and speakers.
Is that what he listened to jazz on?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's like
He's
that's
really
like so fucking cool and vintage. That's what everybody tries to do now. They're like, "Oh my god, I went to the thrift store and I got all this old shit and now I'm like so vintage."
Yeah, I can't really complain. I mean, I've got a vintage Levi jacket on right now, so
I didn't even tell you how cute that was before.
Yeah.
It's coming back though. Everybody's like dressing like it's the 80s. So remember in Stranger Things, like they kind of have their pants hiked up a little bit and they're wearing like orange, yellow, and like white striped shirts and stuff. That's coming back. Like the way girls are dressing now, it's cute. I think it looks cute. But everything recycles itself, doesn't it? Like it comes back. It comes back. It comes back. And like leggings made a big comeback. Those are never going away, by the way, because they're way more comfortable in jeans and everybody's ass, minus fat chicks, looks awesome in them. And then these weird, like the crop tops are coming back where it's like the pants are high and then the shirt's cut off like right underneath your tits or whatever. And like the pants hang above your ankle. Like that's such an 80s thing.
You know what's funny? Ever since I would say maybe the night, like after grunge, because grunge and maybe Britpop were like the last kind of like subcultures that got big. You know, like
is Spice Girls Britpop? Yeah, it is. They're amazing.
Oh my god. Anyway, so.
What a nightmare!
Nightmare. Oh yeah. So after Britpop and grunge, you know, they're last big like subcultures that got mainstream. There's been plenty of subcultures since, but every time something has been big in the skate community, it goes big, like right after. And everyone always says about like, oh, like black culture like starts things off and then it starts, but now you've got black kids dressing like skaters used to when I was like, you know, in my early 20s, and it's like it's crazy because like it kept happening. Like I would wear like Vans Authentics in high school because it was like that was like the original skate shoe. And then by the time I left high school, all the scallies were wearing Vans Authentics and they used to beat me up for wearing
scallies.
Yeah.
But they're scallies.
They've all got long hair now. Like it's back in the 90s in Liverpool.
Is that why you want to cut your hair so bad?
Yeah. I'm just a contrarian.
I just like your hair. I don't want you to cut it.
Shave it off.
I bet you'd look really fucking weird bald.
I've sent you a picture of it quite short.
I don't remember. You keep saying you've sent me this fucking picture, and I don't remember. I mean, I saw your skate pics, but they weren't. Your hair wasn't like meh. It was always like spiky. I always like the white boys, skater boys with the spiky hair, because that's what Zach was like.
It wasn't spiky. It was just greasy and sweaty and like all over the place.
No, because remember that picture where I put arm under? You're like you're making some stupid.
I'm like 12 in that.
Whatever.
photo.
Your hair is spiky and it looks awesome. Is what I'm trying to fucking say to you.
Yeah, that was when I was like thought I was like.
You're like a porcupine.
That's when I thought I was. Yeah. There's another good band porcupine tree, but yeah, that's when I first got into punk and stuff, and I thought I was Sid Vicious, and I was like 12 years old.
Sid Vicious.
But all the stuff like all the pictures back from skating, I was like, that was just messy, greasy hair. Go on.
Oh, I can't remember. Okay, so
they
use the pitch correcting software Auto-Tune. I love how they specify. They use the pitch. We all know what fucking Auto-Tune is thanks to T-Pain, okay?
Yeah.
He's not even the first guy who used it, but he just used the shit out of it to process York's speech into melody. Oh, let me pause. There's a song in here. I can't remember where it's called, but like they obviously increase the. This is the one, right? Is it Pulp Revolving Doors where his voice is like higher? No, I think this is just an instrumental. Maybe I might be wrong.
Through.
I am.
I might be wrong. Sounds like
no.
It's like
yeah.
It's like that. It's like high pass filter or something.
Morning Bell sounds really unsettling too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of unsettling sounds in this one. I can't remember the song now, but it sounds like his voice was like, the pitch was increased in it. Yeah, do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember what song it is.
Not from memory, no. I'd have to go through. But I can't think of any that do. Maybe it's one of the ones towards the end of the album because they get more experimental with the songs towards the end of the album.
God damn it, I can't find one part where he's talking. Come on.
Well, doesn't it say which?
No. Hold on.
It's packed like sardines into a.
Oh, it is that first one?
Yeah.
Nope, this is not it. This is not it. I'm not talking about auto-tune. I'm talking about them increasing the pitch of his voice so it kind of sounds like he's a chipmunk.
Oh, that's more pitch. Well, yeah, auto-tune's pitch correction. You're talking about like actually just artificially changing the pitch constantly instead of moving it around like auto-tune does.
Maybe it's... No, this isn't. It's definitely isn't. Oh, You and Whose Army is a great song. Anyways, I'm not going to find it right now, so let's just continue. Oh. The software desperately tries to search for the music in your speech and produces notes at random. If you've assigned it a key, you've got music. Autotune was also used to process York's vocals on pack like sardines in a crushed tin box to create a nasal deep... Maybe that is the one. I guess it is. I just didn't skip through it long enough because I'm impatient.
See, this is why she needs to learn to listen to me.
No, never. For You and Whose Army, Radiohead attempted to capture the soft, warm, proto-doo-wop sound of the 1940s harmony group The Ink Spots. Ooh, don't know who that is. They muffled microphones with egg boxes and used the Ondes Martenos resonating palm diffuser loudspeaker to treat the vocals. According to a diary kept by the guitarist Ed O'Brien, Knives Out took 373 days to record. A ridiculously long gestation period for any song. I cannot believe when I read this stuff and I'm like, I can't believe this beat is taking me 3 hours to make.
You know that song that I recorded, Devils in the Details? That took me maybe 2-3 months to get it right.
That's fucking nuts. And the one that you put out just recently was like a couple days, right?
Oh yeah, well I did. Yeah, I did. So I came up with the original beat, and then I wanted to put a bass line on it, and then I got the bass line, and the bass line completely just changed the song. Like it just implied melody, implied everything I needed, and the next minute I had like a little melody. Well, it wasn't really a melody, but yeah, it's crazy. Like you just keep hitting the wall, throwing shit at the wall, and then eventually something
That's
sticks.
what I like. That's something I just wish I need, or wish I had more time to do. Because like I'll sit for 3 hours, and then by the time I've sat for 3 hours, I need to go to bed. You know, and it sucks because once I get into it, I don't want to stop. I just want to keep trying to make shit. But like, because you get lost. Obviously, you know what that's like. You just get lost in what's happening, and then you do it, and then it's like, hey, asshole, it's 11. You have to wake up at 4 in the morning. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hinders me.
Oh. I mean, I only really work for like, if I'm working my MIDI keyboard, I only work for maybe 3-4 hours at most. If I'm actually working with real instruments, it's usually like a day.
Well,
that's
yeah.
just because you spend so much time putting microphones up and checking your preamp and checking the levels. And if you actually look at like time spent playing music and like other than like all the other shit, yeah, it's probably around 3-4 hours. So, you know.
All right. For You and Whose Army, Radiohead... Oh, wait, blah, 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 blah. It was influenced by the guitar work of Johnny Marr of The Smiths. That's your boys. Dollars and Cents was edited down from an 11-minute jam using an editing approach inspired by krautrock band Can. What's krautrock?
Krautrock was basically like kind of experimental drum-based, like very heavily beat-based music that came from Germany, like the Kraut, you know. And Can is like one of the famous krautrock bands, which are really, really fucking good. Really good. It actually can have been sampled by like hip hop artists because they're so heavily drum based.
Bassist Colin Greenwood played a jazz record by Alice Coltrane over the recording, inspiring his brother, guitarist Johnny Greenwood, to write a Coltrane-style string arrangement. Like Spinning Plates was the result of Radiohead's attempt to record another song, I Will, for which York had programmed a synthesizer sequence he dismissed as dodgy craftwork. Radiohead reversed the recording and used it to create a new song. York said, I was in another room, heard the vocal melody coming backwards, and thought I was in another... Oh my god, I'm retarded. That's miles better than the right way around. How fucking crazy is that shit?
Well, I was actually making a beat the other day, and what I played over the drum beat, just with my pads from the sample, I reversed the sample and started playing it reversed, and it actually sounded way better. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Like Porcelain by Moby. That sample of the string, like it's like a quartet or an orchestra that he sampled. He just reversed it, and it makes the whole song. Sometimes you just have to do one little thing like that.
York sang the lyrics backwards. Oh wait. So that's miles better than the right way around. Then spent the rest of the night trying to learn the melody. York sang the lyrics backwards. This recording was in turn reversed, creating vocals with lyrics that sound reversed. That fucks my brain up a little bit.
It's on another level.
That fucks my brain up a little bit.
Yeah.
Radiohead recorded I Will in a new arrangement for the next album, Hail to the Thief. Okay. On the final track, Life in a Glass House, it was recorded after Kid A was released. In late 2000, Johnny Greenwood wrote to jazz trumpeter Humphrey Littleton to ask his band to play on the song, explaining that Radiohead were a bit stuck. Greenwood told Mojo, we realized that we couldn't play jazz. You know, we've always been a band of great ambition with limited playing abilities, which certainly, you would never get that impression. Littleton agreed to help after his daughter showed him Radiohead's 1997 album OK Computer. According to Littleton, Radiohead didn't want it to sound like a slick studio production, but a slightly exploratory thing of people playing as if they didn't have it all planned out in advance. That's so funny. Planning to have something sound like it's not planned in advance. The song was recorded over a 7-hour session and left Littleton exhausted. I detected some sort of eye rolling at the start of the session, as if to say we were miles apart. They went through quite a few nervous breakdowns during the course of it all, just through trying to explain to us what they wanted.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you're trying to... But that could be their... where their limitations are. Like, maybe they don't know theory as well as, like, a experienced jazz musician. So it's hard for them to convey. It's like trying to speak to someone in a different language.
Yeah.
When somebody can just explain, you know, whether it's staccato or legato, like...
Are you fucking slouching right now? Yeah, fix your posture. You gotta sit like Matt in Matt and Shane's podcast.
It's like that.
With his hands on his knees like an old man, you know?
Yeah. Well, you tell me to get close to the microphone, and then you tell me not to slouch.
Can you not move? There's no adjustment on that? Where you can move it forward?
As far as it goes out. That's about...
Look at that. That's perfect. Now you can sit properly, because if you don't, you're just going to fuck your back. You're so cute. Stop it. Okay. AMNESIAC incorporates experimental rock, electronica, and alternative rock. Colin Greenwood said it had more traditional Radiohead-type songs together with more experimental, non-lyrical-based instrumental-type stuff as well. The first track, Packed Like Sardines in a Crushed Tin Box, is an electronic song built from loops. Pyramid Song was inspired by the Charles Mingus song Freedom. I don't know any of these songs, which is unfortunate because it makes it difficult for me to put this stuff into context. So if you do, stop me and just talk to me about it, okay?
Well, I know Charles Mingus, but only because of my dad. He's a I think he plays clarinet.
Because of your da?
Because me da, yeah.
Because of me da. Was inspired by the Charles Mingus song Freedom, with lyrics inspired by an exhibition of ancient Egyptian underworld art York attended while the band was recording in Copenhagen, and ideas of cyclical time discussed by Stephen Hawking and Buddhism. That's so cool, right? When they incorporate things from like all these fucking geniuses and stuff. That's why I like Tool. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Yeah. Synchronicities. Lateralis. That's my favorite Tool song.
Yeah. I think my favorite Tool song is probably Writing 2.
What album is that off of?
I don't know. I think... I'm not sure. I'd have to check. But I just like the lyrical concept of it, and then the music video. It's about kind of, you know, how systems of belief impact, you know, culture and human behavior. That's what I gather from it anyway. Mm-hmm. And the music video goes really, really well, and it's kind of like a bird's eye, God's eye view of humanity, kind of destroying itself and becoming more and more industrialized. And the music video goes through from like, you know, it's like, I think from what I can remember, it's like two kind of like cavemen, and there's like a woman, and they both want the woman, and then the guy that just takes her and like rapes her. And then it like goes all the way through to like industrial war, and there's like raping and pillaging, and like it's really cool.
I
Great
like
song.
them. York said UN Whose Army was about someone who is elected into power by people and who then blatantly betrays them, just like Blair did. So tell me about Tony Blair. What did Tony Blair do? That's what he's talking about, right?
Well, Tony Blair's kind of started New Labour. So it was a move from traditional Labour values into more of what a lot of left-wingers call neocon, so like neoconservative, or like neoliberal. Mm-hmm. And I mean, depending on who you ask with Tony Blair, he kind of portrayed everyone. I mean, if you like Douglas Murray's book,
I haven't read that yet.
He goes into detail about how they kind of increased immigration because they knew that new immigrants are more likely to vote for left-wing parties. You know, there's all these like underhanded techniques and strategies that his government you know, applied to the system, and yeah, like he kind of fucked over everyone on the left, everyone on the right, and also, you know, the whole Iraq war deal with Bush. So
I might
so
be
he
wrong.
he probably portrayed Tom York in a lot of ways, but I'm not sure what he's specifically talking about.
I might be wrong. Combines a venomous guitar riff with a trance-like metallic beat. That's interesting. I'm going to play that for a second so I can remember. I might be wrong. Oh, right. I like that guitar. Yeah, I like that guitar riff. It's real cool.
It's stonking.
That's a weird word. Okay, Colin Greenwood's bass line was inspired by Chic bassist Bernard Edwards, which is from who? Oh, Chic, I guess the band is called. Chic bassist. Got it. The lyric "Never Look Back" came from advice given to York by his partner Rachel Owen. Be proud of what you've done. Don't look back and just carry on like nothing's happened. Just let the bad stuff go. Keep calm, carry on. As the posters in the what was that, Second World War, right? First World War? Second World War posters.
It's probably the second.
I think it was the second one. It was during Churchill's time. Be proud of what you have. Knives Out described as the album's most conventional song, features drifting guitar lines, driving percussion, a wandering bass line, haunting vocals, and eerie lyrics. Yeah, that's probably why I like it. See, like, I like that eerie song. Morning Bell is also kind of an eerie song. Morning Bell is eerie.
It's more on the pretty side, though, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. But also eerie. Yeah. Morning Bell / Amnesiac is an alternative version of Morning Bell from Kid A. O'Brien said that Radiohead often recorded and abandoned different versions of songs, but that this version was strong enough to bear hearing again. York wrote that it was included because it came from such a different place, because we only found it again by accident and having forgotten about it. This sounds like your life story. Remember you found your old shit?
Oh
So
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
right? You have to like reinvent it or rework it and see what you can do with
Also,
it.
so I'm planning to do just basically re-record it
Mm-hmm.
because it was like one of the first songs I ever recorded. So on this little 4 track, which I don't have here, but I'll try to find it.
I remember you sent me a picture. It's so cute. It looks like it's so old school. Like, oh, what you doing recording on this fucking thing? Because it sounds like a recurring dream, it felt right. York said the lyrics for Dollars and Cents were gibberish, but were inspired by the notion that people are basically just pixels on a screen, unknowingly serving this higher power, which is manipulative and destructive. It's so crazy how many thematic parallels there are between this and Year Zero.
Well, it's this is what I was going to ask about Year Zero. Is like that documentary I watched where it was like, well, it was just a bunch of like Trent Reznor interviews. He was talking about an album that he wanted to write, where it was from the perspective like of a bunch of different kind of people in a kind of post apocalyptic world, or like an outcome of like political dissonance, and like he wanted to write an album from a perspective of a bunch of different people I would imagine were in that world, and I was wondering if this was the album. So if we read the Wikipedia,
Yeah, we'll get to that next,
we'll
but
get to it.
yeah,
Yeah, I know. Just wondering.
essentially, yes, that is certainly the It has more to do with like contemporary government policies and like just the fucking control power dynamic aspect of the entire thing. Hunting Bears is a short instrumental on electronic guitar and synthesizer. Life in a Glass House features a Humphrey Littleton band playing in the style of a New Orleans jazz funeral. See? Playing in the style of a fucking funeral. No wonder it made me feel like dying.
Have you ever seen like the New Orleans jazz
No, but I've
kind
heard
of
this shit.
culture?
I've heard music that sounds similar to Life in a Glass House with scenes of like funerals and death before.
Yeah, well, the jazz kind of culture in New Orleans is very. It's more like it isn't like a sad funeral thing. It's more about having like a party down the street as they go.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's like like the festival of Santa Muerta or whatever in.
Dias de los Muertos.
Yeah, so
The Day
it's
of
more
the
of like
Dead.
it's more of like a happy twist on death.
Yeah, all those sugar skulls and shit. Okay.
Yeah.
According to Littleton, the song starts with an ad-libbed bluesy minor key meandering, then it gradually gets so that we're sort of playing real wild primitive New Orleans blues stuff. The lyrics were inspired by a news story. York read of a celebrity's wife so harassed by paparazzi that she papered her house windows with their photographs. Oh, look at that. He even Tom York created the artwork for it. For the album. I didn't know that too. I always assumed that like they have other artists who come and create their album covers and stuff.
Well, from what I know, Radiohead have like one specific guy that they've worked with on most of their album covers.
Yeah, that's cool.
Interesting.
Anything else?
Yeah,
it definitely does have like a. I don't know. It had like a bit of a heavier, darker feeling than In Rainbows and Kid A. I think in order of the way that I like them, In Rainbows was number 1, Kid A was number 2, this was number 3.
I would say that's pretty much. In Rainbows is. I agree with Gabe. It's my favorite album for sure. I do appreciate OK Computer because it's like a conceptual album in a lot of ways, and you don't see that a lot anymore. You know, you didn't really had that with like, you know, Sgt. Pepper. I mean, Sgt. Pepper wasn't really a conceptual album, but it kind of became one in hindsight. And then Dark Side of the Moon as well is a concept album. And then a lot of like prog rock stuff is quite conceptual. Yeah.
We pushed a button and elected him the officer. And he pushed a button and he dropped a bomb. You push your button and you watch it on your television. Those motherfuckers didn't last too long.
Yeah, I did like that kind of lyrical idea. He does really interesting things with lyrics, like very secular, like double meaning, like the stuff I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Like Jim Morrison said that you need to do.
But they're like the thing too is like at first listen, the lyrics sound very simple too. Like he's not doing anything particularly. Oh, it doesn't sound like he's doing anything particularly fancy or whatever. I don't know how you want to how to word that.
It's not very. It's not.
It's not like esoteric sounding, or it's not. It's like very direct,
it's not poetic.
plain. Yeah.
It's not poetic in the traditional sense. You know, he's not right. He's not reinventing like Keats or Byron or.
He's not trying to sound super profound. He's just like giving you the.
It's like everyman poetry. It's like beat poetry. It's like Bukowski or something like that. Yeah.
But then he adds like elements of the way he says it and the way he'll whisper certain words or say words a certain pitch or whatever, and that like really helps create whatever feeling he's bringing into the song, right?
Yeah. Well, that comes from writing.
Yeah.
I mean, if like when I came up with just that quick verse that I put on that song that I released the other day, like that
should really put that in here.
That just came from I played the bass line, and the next minute I just had this implied melody that I was hearing in my head, and then I think I can't remember what word, but I kept saying a word over and over again, and then more words came from that, and then it started making sense, and then the second verse I came up with once I knew the kind of scheme of it.
Oops, I started playing it. Sorry.
You can play it if you want.
Later, after this. Yeah, we should. I'm just putting it in the chat.
We'll let it play us out. Yeah, you know what I don't like about YouTube though? They like compress the sound down so much. Like if you listen to the one I sent you on your phone, and then the YouTube one on YouTube, it's like quiet and compressed. SoundCloud's good though. It doesn't compress your stuff.
So why does YouTube do that? Just to save space?
There was this whole thing called the loudness wars.
The loudness war. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so they do it to stop that. I mean, every website does it a little bit, but the ones that are more musically orientated, like Bandcamp and SoundCloud, they kind of allow for a little bit more peaking, a little bit more mastering tricks.
Peaking?
Having a little peak.
I used to have these friends we used to smoke weed with back when I worked at a call center, and when you get really high on drugs, they would call it pookin', not peakin'. It's pookin'. Yeah. All right, so this album now. Year Zero. This is a really cool album because I feel like it's just so super relevant. Like it's just like the discussion of power dynamics and the government and all these kinds of things that are kind of so relevant now because that's what it really feels like is happening. And this was written or released in 2007 in April. I guess that was around the George Bush time too, right? So it's pretty fitting.
Well, that's probably around the time he had like Occupy protests, I think, and stuff like that. So those themes were kind of being set, I think. So he's probably observing a lot of that stuff at the time. I mean, Survivalism, which I think is like the third song. Like that's got that whole kind of, it seems like he was watching what was going on in the Tea Party and things like this, I think. For sure. That kind of, I think he says something like,
I got my propaganda, I got revisionism, I got my violence in high def ultra realism. He's so good.
Yeah. It's like he's it's almost like that Tool song about kind of he's like talking about basically how addicted he is to like violence on TV, and I can't remember the name of the song, but yeah, it reminded me a bit of that lyrically. But yeah, I think did I tell you my favorite songs off it already? So I wrote them down. So the beginning and the end.
I love
The
that
last,
song.
the last song, Zero Sum, I thought was really good. Like the melody and the dynamics and the piano is like he's got such a he can just make piano sound beautiful. And then the Good Soldier as well.
Dude, sometimes
So
he
that
just hits 2 keys in the entire song, and the way that he makes it work with everything else just gives it like this soft kind of, like a soft, like really, I don't even know. It's like a soft, it softens everything, right? Like,
comforting. Yeah.
it's really
Well,
nice.
that was what was interesting about that Zero Sum song was it started off very like prickly and distorted and kind of cloudy, and then it just kind of takes you out into this beautiful piano with like beautiful melodies, and I really 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 enjoyed that song for sure.
I like his instrumentals too. Like, a lot of the time, if there's just like random instrumentals on what's considered like a rock album, or I guess industrial rock album, it's kind of like it seems out of place, but it works. Like, he's really good at composing stuff, so it always sounds really good. And I think I've said it a million times before, it's always really textured. And now that I have good headphones and I can actually distinguish those sounds, it's very difficult not to appreciate how much shit is actually going on in a Nine Inch Nails track, you know. So,
Yeah.
and like it's
Well, I think. Go on.
no, you go.
I
Ladies
think
first.
smart ass. Another version of The Truth
That's a good one too.
was like, I think that's largely an instrumental, isn't it?
Where is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
another version of The Truth? Hold on.
Actually, no, I don't think it's an instrumental. But you
No, it
can
is.
really see. Okay, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It starts off kind of rough. 58 seconds in, it's like a real grindy, not grindy, it sounds like transmission interference, for fuck's sake, is what the sound sounds like.
Yeah.
And he has that
But,
unsettling piano kind of playing, and then like all that heavy grindy sound kind of goes away, and then it has kind of this hopeful tone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wrote here about how gorgeous I thought it was, and it was. I think that was the most kind of kooky. that was the most kind of. That was the song that really got me kind of emotionally. You know, like, I actually started like feeling something like that. Like, this is one of the things about this album that I like. The Fragile and Hesitation Marks. I got more of an emotional vibe from this. This felt very despondent and kind of like it was almost like he wanted it. It's like almost like somebody who's like emotionally numb just expressing themselves.
Yeah.
So it was void of a lot of emotion apart from on a handful of tracks, and even on those tracks it was only like there would be a minute where it got quite like emotionally dense, you know. But that song stood out. It's like, yeah, of course this guy gets asked to score music for films because the guy can just, when he gets into his instrumental mode, it's crazy. Because you can tell that like a lot of the songs that he'll sing on, he gets more into like the songwriter mode, and then when he does his instrumentals, he just really gets really expansive and cinematic, and you can see
it's like a soundscape. But it's like you're in a room, and if you walked into that room is like a theme. And he's really good at like adding every element of whatever that theme is into sounds. And so you get like, this album I found had like kind of I felt like it was more tension than release, right? Because it's called Year Zero. It's talking about like a time that's kind of fucked up. And like, yeah, there's obvious tension and release between the instruments, but I think the theme is like tense. It's just tense. A lot of grindy, kind of like it real heavy on the industrial kind of. It's entirely different from the Fragile.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
The bass sounds the bass and the drum sounds are very industrial sounding, very electronic, and the drums have a lot of gates on them and things like this.
What's a gate?
So a gate is basically it has a threshold of decibels. So decibels is a measurement of volume.
Yes.
Basically, when you put a gate on it, so if you put a gate on a snare drum, you'll only, like, depends on how
So
far
the
you put
gate,
the threshold.
it'll like play a certain amount of frequencies, and after that, like after
No,
the gate.
volume.
Oh, volume,
Volume.
volume.
So it only lets it only so you have a track, say a track, like you have a track and it's like the snare drum. You put a gate on that and you say you have like you set the gate at like 20 decibels or something. It'll only let sound through that, or sound make a sound.
That's what
That
a limiter is, right? Is that what a limiter does?
No, limiter's like a form of compression.
Oh, okay.
That takes signals and kind of artificially inflates the volume. So you have a ceiling of how loud it can be, in terms of decibels, but it makes it sound like it's kind of confused. It makes it sound louder, basically. It artificially adds volume, is how I would describe it. But a gate only lets through the sound the instrument is making when it goes to a certain amount of decibels. So if I hit a snare drum, it's only gonna, if I have it at like 15 decibels, it's only gonna allow the snare drum to make a sound
Up to 15 decibels.
when it hits 15 decibels. So anything
Oh.
quieter than that, it won't let through.
Oh, okay.
So that's how you get like a vote. Like if you put a gate at like, like very low decibels on a vocal, you can get rid of all the background noise, so you just hear the person.
Oh, I understand. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what a gate does. And yeah, a lot of the drums sound very like heavily gated, so they sound very separate. And I think a lot of them are quite electronic anyway. But I think, what song was it? Yeah, I think the beginning of the end sounded like real drums. I mean, it could just be him being like a production wizard, but they sounded very real. And I thought the bass line was great on that song.
Yeah. I agree. This is the beginning of the end. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. I liked Hyperpower too. Like, it's a good entry track into like what to expect on the rest of the album. But then so it goes from Hyperpower and it ends at Zero Sum, which starts kind of like tense and like uncomfortable and ends up being it's almost as if everything, like the apocalypse, is now in the calming phase.
It's like the calm after the storm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, Hyperpower. Yeah, I don't like when an intro to an album goes on too long.
Yeah, 1 minute and 42 seconds.
It seemed perfect, yeah, and it did set the stage for what you would be hearing in the album.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that the Fadro was very dense
Mm-hmm.
in terms of arrangement, but like this was just crazy dense.
Yeah,
Everything felt like it was like everything was in a block, and it was just, yeah, it was very. The only thing I didn't really like about the album was how there's like this weird like squelchy synth sound. It sounds like aliens, like really quick like wobbles. I don't like that sound. That's the only thing. Like
it bothers you, or you just didn't like it with the
I don't
music?
taste wise.
Oh,
I just
okay.
don't like that sound on synths. I like kind of like square wave synths. I don't like wet sounding synths. But
Square wave. What does that mean?
it's like distortion.
Oh, okay.
Like if you look at a wave of a distorted guitar, it's already a compressed signal. Like when you distort a signal, it's already compressed. Like you don't really have to add compression to distorted signals. So it's like very square when you look at it. And if you look at like, very distorted synth sounds, they're very square waved when you look at the wave on a
See, I don't think I would particularly choose that sound, but I think for the purpose of this album and the motif that it was going for, it fits.
Oh, so it fits, yeah.
Yeah, there's like certain things that like I'm noticing that I'll put up with that I don't typically like if it fits in with the context.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
a lot of it does. And like I think he's really good at unsettling. Unsettling is something he's really good at. And that feeling is prevalent throughout this. Ooh, it's an unsettling time,
Well, what I thought, I'm trying to look at what song it was now. I think it was wait there. What song was
The
it?
Greater
It's
Good?
like no, I don't
Instrumental?
think The Greater Good. It's the one where it's like it sounds like it's the lyrics sounds like it's about it's from the perspective of aliens.
I think that is The Good Soldier, isn't it? No, it's not. My Violent Heart. My Violent Heart.
I think it was in My Violent Heart.
Do do do.
What's that?
Into fire you can send us. From the fire we return.
No, it was The Warning.
You can label us a consequence of how much you have to learn.
It was The Warning,
Okay, let me listen. Hold on.
which I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
sound worked.
So what about that song?
It sounded like it was written from the perspective
Oh,
of
right.
alien,
That's what you said.
but like that those like synth sounds kind of work perfect in that context because it's like what you'd imagine kind of like alien. It's a very kind of like alien takeover UFO
9 Inch
from the
Nails,
80s sound.
The Warning. Let's see. Some
Yeah,
say it
and
was
the,
a warning, some say it was a sign. I was standing right there when it came down from the sky. So it's the perspective of like someone witnessing aliens come. When it came down from the way it spoke to us, you felt it from inside. Said it was up to us to decide. You've become a virus that's killing off its host. We've been watching you with all of our eyes and what you seem to value most. Ooh.
Yeah. So it's telling us the perspective of the aliens from someone who's
I
clearly
see.
spoken to them.
Yeah, afterwards,
I mean,
right?
but to me, it's the second part of the verse sounded more like it was from the perspective of an alien, but I didn't
Oh yeah, and
realize he
then the
said
second verse starts from the aliens because it's like so much potential, or so we used to say. Your greed, self-importance, and your arrogance, you piss it all away. We heard her cry. We've come to intervene. You will change your ways, and you will make amends, or we will wipe this place clean.
Yeah, I thought it was, yeah, which is cool. Cool concept, and the guitars at the end. They were like the only way I could describe them was like mutated.
Oh, I gotta
Like
listen.
they're all kind of jittery and like it felt like someone kept knocking them back. It was just dead strange.
I like how I'm listening just to the end now. It does this thing where it goes, it like twangs, but not in not in like a country music way. It's like
No,
it's like he's
it sounds like
forcing a
he's-
twang. He's like pulling the string really hard
yeah,
and letting it
sounded-
go.
It sounded almost like I think it was that song. It was like he was like down pitching it to make it sound like the string was being loosened. It's like elastic band sound.
Hmm.
think it was that song.
That is kind of, yeah, it is warning near the end.
Oh no, I was thinking of my violent heart has the like kind of like jittery guitar, like music sounds, but the warning has that kind of weird like elastic band sounding guitar.
Yeah.
And also, Gabe just subscribed to me, and I would like to say thank you very much, Gabe. I
Aw,
appreciate
Gaby. Thanks, Gaby. Sounds like gay and baby put together, but it's cute. Gaby. Gaby.
it. We are born gay, I guess.
Maybe you are. You were born trans.
Yeah, look, I got the hair for it and everything. I just need the tits now.
That'll never happen. Me, I'm not. Which is that one? Hold on. Me, I'm not is like really slow and it sounds creepy. Hold on. This is a song I don't actually totally know the lyrics for either.
Which, me, I'm not.
Whoops. Yeah.
Did you say me, I'm not? Yeah.
Yes. I can't shut it off, this thing I've begun, and it's hard to tell just where it's coming from. And it's hard to see what I'm capable of, and it's hard to believe just what I've become. Hey, can we stop? Oh, is that how it goes? I can swallow it down, keep it all inside. I love this. This is my favorite line. This one sticks out to me. I define myself by how well I hide. I feel it coming apart. Well, at least I tried. I can win this war by knowing not to fight. It was just like surrender. I'm just going to surrender to this thing.
Well, what I noticed about that song was he didn't, because usually like when you produce a song and you have a vocal and the vocal is like an important aspect to it, you push it to the front of the mix, either with whether it's through EQ techniques or compression techniques. You're gonna push it to the front whatever way you can. But he seemed to kind of almost treat his vocal like just another instrument. It was just perfectly in line with the mix of the other instruments, and I thought that was a really interesting technique.
He has a lot of songs like that where his voice is not prominent. It's in level with everything else. So sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to discern what he's saying. But there's like specific parts where he'll emphasize something or he'll be kind of screaming. Like that All Time Low song is like that, where he does a lot of like, the song that's on Hesitation Marks, where he'll start and it'll be like, hey, everything is not okay, and then it goes to the chorus and it's like, so give me just a little
dynamics.
bit. Yeah, he's very good at that. That's one thing I love about him.
Well,
that's my boyfriend.
God Given.
Oh, I need to
was it God? Yeah, but there's like the really whispered. There's like a whispered section.
Yeah, that one is cool. The chorus goes all crazy and it sounds like it's like.
Well, listen to the little whispered bit. It's like a really rhythmic whispered bit.
Oh yeah, and he says it really quick.
Yeah.
That is
something about some guy. It's about saying something true.
I'm gonna go and look for it because I don't actually know what he says at all because he says it so fast. But I like that he whispers. So
it sounded like something about a guy.
And he gives a sight, and we will see the light, and it burns so bright. Now we know we're right. It is kingdom come, and thy will be done. We just have begun. We're the chosen ones. Is that the one?
No, that's not the line. It's a bit further in.
I would never tell you anything that wasn't absolutely true that hadn't come right from his mouth. That he wants me to tell you. Wait, step into the light. How can this be right? Oh man, that's a good song too. I like how he does that. I like when he just speaks the lyrics. See, he was like the slam poetry, like the cool version of slam poetry, because he's able to produce all the music that enhances what that sounds like when you're just speaking it normally.
What's the rhythm of the words? Like I always think about that because I'm not like the best singer. Like, so it's more about the rhythm of the words for me. I mean, that song that I released the other day, perfect example. It's all about the rhythm of the words. Like that, it fits.
It does.
A lot of the time, it doesn't really come from the chords for me. So there are songs that come from the chords, but a lot of the first ideas, it'll just be how one word fits with the timing of the song. Like that's where it really comes from.
So Kelsey, remember yesterday I was talking to Kelsey about this too, and he was talking about how like he'll write the melody first. I can't remember if he said he writes the melody first and then fits the words in after, or he
said he writes the words first, I think.
My memory is shit.
Yeah, well, I watched it this morning, so...
My memory's shite.
Yeah, head like a fucking sieve.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we've talked about... We're just talking about it right now, and then I'll read the Wikipedia article after, because I just like... I don't know, just going with the flow. I'm getting drunk. On that bomb sap, yo! Okay. What's the next one? Meet your master.
Oh yeah, Me Master. That didn't. That was. I think that was the one track on the album that I didn't really like.
Bam, 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 bam. What? That fucking part is so cool.
Just didn't really hit me.
You're fucking gay, dude. Okay, hold on. Bow down in position against the polished steel. This is something different. You'll like the way this feels. No time for asking questions. No time for wondering. We've heard enough from you now. We've heard everything. We're going to play a new game. You'll put on this blindfold. You'll do what we tell you. You'll do as you're told. Used to be the leader, but now comes the time to serve. Maybe we show some mercy. Maybe you get what you deserve. Yeah, see, it's like all about control, and it's all about just like being asleep, pretty much. People are fucking asleep. Okay, let's read the Wikipedia article, because now I just sound like I'm rambling, and I think I know too much.
I'd rather be asleep than woke nowadays.
Woke shouldn't be. I think the term woke is so cute, and I'm really pissed off that it's used for SJWs as like an ironic kind of term that they think, like, they've kind of co-opted it to illustrate that they're awake and they're some like advanced fucking part of the species that knows things more than normal people who are reasonable do. And like, I want to use woke. I think it's cute.
I'll just say awake.
But that's not as cute.
What about awoken doesn't work.
No, it sounds I'm trying to be fucking profound. Like Eckhart Tolle. Okay. I'm Eckhart Tolle. I'm awakened. I'm an enlightened, evolved being.
It's Eckhart Tolle.
Eat my ass.
Oh, God.
Get your spoon.
I haven't got a spoon. I wish I had a spoon right now.
Eckhart
Tolle. I don't know. Just fucking take it.
What?
Say I'm woker than you.
I like Wokahontas. I want to call myself Wokahontas. The Good Soldier song redirects here. For the Flowbot song, see Survival Story. This ad brought to you by Wikipedia. And now to the feature presentation. Year Zero is the fifth studio album by American industrial rock band Nine Inch Nails, released by Interscope Records on April 17th, 2007. Conceived while touring in support of the band's previous album, With Teeth, which, by the way, is a really good album. That is something you should listen to if you get the chance. The album was recorded throughout late 2006 and was produced by frontman Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and being the band's first studio album since 1994's The Downward Spiral, to not be co-produced by longtime collaborator Alan Moulder. It was the band's last album for Interscope, following Reznor's departure the same year over a dispute of overseas pricing. So he got into... It was in one of the documentaries I think he was talking about, like they were charging more for the album in certain places or something, and he didn't want that. And I think it caused like quite a dispute.
Yeah, I saw a great clip the other day. It was an interview with Nirvana, and they're telling the band, the camera's like right on Kurt's face, obviously, and they're telling the band how much like Madonna charges for tickets, you know.
Yeah.
And Kurt's just kind of like out of it, just like not bothered about what's going on. And then he hears like $70, and he just goes. And his eyes get dead big, and he's like, his eyes get all angry, and he really focuses in on the person.
Yeah.
Just laughing. Though. Yeah.
Oh, I want to see that. That was like that 10-second clip you sent me. We're autists. We're sensitive as shit.
We're artists. Sensitive as shit.
That's my favorite. Okay, where was I? In contrast to the introspective style of songwriting featured on the band's previous work, the record is a concept album that criticizes contemporary policies of the United States government by presenting a dystopian vision of the year 2022. So creepy, right? Because like I feel like this is like the trajectory we're on right now. Everything that he's talking about in this album just seems like it's It's like prophetic.
We're getting there, yeah. I mean, you look at what happened with the Chaz and the Chop and all that shit. And
What the fuck is the chat? Okay, I'll ask you later. Because I keep hearing this term, the Chaz.
one other thing as well, right? I'm sure Year Zero was a term that Mao used in communist China. I wonder if he got it from that. But anyway, carry on.
I think you're just really obsessed with fucking like the Chinese revolution, the Chinese social revolution, because there's so many similarities. There's so many similarities to the Cultural Revolution in China. That's how I hear it when you say it. I love you. I'm just kidding. You're so cute. Okay. It was part of a larger Year Zero project, which included a remix album, an alternate reality game of the same name, as well as a conceived television or film adaptation. The game expanded upon the album's storyline using websites, pre-recorded phone messages, murals, among other media and promotion of the project. The album was promoted by 2 singles, Survivalism and Capital G. So, like, I think it was actually Dan that told me months ago that Trent would, like, at concerts hand out USB sticks that had, like, he would, like, play games and stuff with his fans by handing out, like, a limited number of these USB sticks that had a bunch of clues and stuff in them. Like, he's always done kind of weird shit like that. So maybe that's why I've never seen or heard any of this stuff. Like, it was exclusive shit that he just kind of handed out as like a side thing. And then he has a lot of stuff on his website and stuff. But yeah,
I always wanted to like, if I ever had like a shitload of fans and stuff, I always wanted to do like a treasure hunt for an album.
That'd be so fun.
So like I'd bury the album on a hard drive or something, like in a sealable box, and then like people would have to find it.
It would be so fun if you did do that, and the treasure map that's on Matt and Shane's secret podcast table was the actual map of like where the treasure's located. Anyways, that's a weird connection I just made by myself. The Year Zero received positive reviews from critics who complimented its concept and production, as well as the accompanying alternate reality game. The album reached number 2 in the US, number 6 in the UK, and the top 10 in various other countries.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah? In a 2005 interview with Kerrang, Trent Reznor expressed his intentions to write material for a new release while on tour promoting With Teeth. You haven't heard that. You know the song Only? Have you heard the song Only?
Is that off With Teeth, yeah.
Yes, that song is on that album, and that whole album is also from beginning to end just really good. He reportedly began work on the new album by September of 2006. Reznor devised much of the album's musical direction on his laptop. Reznor told Kerrang in a later interview, "When I was on the Live with Teeth tour, to keep myself busy, I was just really hunkered down and was working on music the whole time. So this kept me in a creative mode, and when I finished the tour, I felt like I wasn't tired and wanted to keep at it." Dude, he does not stop. I remember in that interview, he's like, if I had to work at McDonald's during the day to mean I could make music all night, that is what I would do. Like, I would do what I had to do to make sure I just could keep making music. Like, it was just like a calling. You know what I mean? That shit's nuts. Like, I envy that.
That's why he is where he is. He's got that work ethic, yeah.
But it's crazy to think that, like, Pretty Hate Machine is 30 years old. That's a really old... I think, is that their first?
It's probably... What year was it released?
A fucking long time ago. And I actually like that one, too.
Because I think
1989. October 20th, 1989.
Which is crazy, because that's the same year that Bleach came out, which is Nirvana's first album.
Yep, so Pretty Hate Machine was their first album. That was released in 1989. That's what it says here.
And have I heard any songs off that?
Head Like a Hole?
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, that's all.
So to think that like that album came out the same year as Bleach, like Trent was way more ambitious musically than Kurt Cobain. It's crazy.
He's always been like that. He's always in rooms full of just synthesizers, and it's like Joel. Like his whole entire studio is knobs and wires and dials and faders, and then he has this really nice glass room that has like fucking 10, 12 guitars in it. To be rich and just to be able to have instruments. That's why I want to be rich. I want to like facilitate my hobbies in the most extravagant of ways.
Yeah.
I want like all the MIDI keyboards. Like, it's so cool when you go through their shit, because Trent was like talking about some MIDI keyboards, and so is Joel in that video with what's that fucking guy's name, Linus Tech Tips, and he goes through like his servers and all that kind of stuff, and there's like MIDI keyboards and keyboards from like the 70s and shit that they hunted down and they purchased because like the sound can't be reproduced in the same way digitally. You know what I mean? There's that record vintage hipster quality, man, that you can't get.
I think I remember telling you about it. It's the actual like components inside the synthesizer or the guitar pedal or whatever. You can't really reproduce it because they need to like open them up and look inside them. Some of the modeling is quite good, but yeah, there's certain things you can't get the same sound of. I mean, that's why I got that Mesa Boogie studio.
Mesa Boogie.
Because it's just got a sound to it that is on so many great albums and live albums as well. So
I didn't ask you. I was asking you before, and then I cut you off because I'm like, we should save this. Remember, I asked you what a drum machine is. What's a drum machine? Does that just refer to like a plug-in?
Well, you can get actual drum machines, like units that are drum machines. Like on my organ, I have a drum machine technically. So basically, like when you're in Fruity Loops and you put in a sequence.
Yeah.
It's basically a machine that just does that. So you can turn up like the BPM, you can change the rhythm around, like whether if the snare drum's on the 1 or the 2 or 3 or 4, you just do it all in a unit rather than on the computer. Like Radiohead song Idiotech. Like Johnny Greenwood basically came up with that whole beat like on a drum machine where like you take different cables and plug them into different jacks, and it makes different sounds and makes different drum beats, and that whole thing came from a big drum machine unit. Like it's like Andrew Wong has like a bunch of drum machines.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Like, actual like physical ones. Yeah, so it's basically doing the same thing but in a different manner.
Okay, I'm ready. I was looking at where I ended last time. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Knowledge time. The limitations of devising the album's musical direction on a tour bus forced Reznor to work differently from usual. Reznor said, "I didn't have guitars around because it was too much hassle. It was another creative limitation. If I were in my studio, I would have done things the way I normally do them, but not having the ability to do that forced me into trying some things that were fun to do." So that means those drums you heard in that beginning of that sound were produced on his laptop. He did not play them. That's fucking nuts.
Unless he re-recorded it, but the thing is, he's so good at that stuff, he probably did just use some kind of plug-in. It's crazy.
By the end of the tour, Reznor began to work on the album's lyrical concepts, attempting to break away from his typically introspective approach. Reznor drew inspiration from his concern at the state of affairs in the United States and at what he envisioned as the country's political, spiritual, and social direction. Year Zero was mixed in January 2007, and Reznor stated on his blog that the album was finished as of February 5th. Dude, I need to read this motherfucker's blog. The album's budget was a reported $2 million, but since Reznor composed most of the album himself on his laptop and in his home studio, oh, maybe you're right, maybe he did record the drums, much of the budget instead went towards the extensive accompanying promotional campaign. A song cut from the album included vocal work by Queens of the Stone Age's Josh Homme. The same year, Reznor contributed vocals to their song... Whatever, Josh Homme. Fuck off. Reznor contributed vocals to their song Era Vulgaris, which was also cut from the album of the same name.
Yeah, so he probably did take some of the ideas and flesh them out in his home studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, you know.
Well, he was mostly touring, so I think he mostly did it on tour, and then obviously when he had access to his home studio, he did some there. That would be my
Well,
guess.
that's what you know, Tame Impala.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So the guy who writes all that, Kevin Parker, that's what he does. He like writes out like there was one song that he like recorded the vocal for it in the demo uh, on a plane. Like he was on a plane, and he was like singing into his laptop to sing the vocal. So yeah, and then he fleshes it out in studios. Apparently, the recent album, he was like he would buy like a hotel.
Tame
and like
Impala? Okay.
yeah, Kevin Parker. So like he would buy like a hotel room and then like write music in a hotel room. Really strange. Like he would just travel and like set up his laptop and stuff in like a hotel room, write some stuff, and then like go somewhere else. And
Artists are fucking
really
weird, dude. Sometimes that's like a set and setting thing. So it's like
yeah,
it's like being on mushrooms or acid, right? Like it's so important to have the proper set and setting to like facilitate the right idea that you're trying to get into. So I think that's what he's trying to do. He's like using the concept of set and setting and putting himself in a place where he feels is going to facilitate that creative energy, which is kind of cool.
yeah. Well,
Why do you know that, by
like
the way? Were you just reading about him one day?
yeah, or I watched an interview or something.
Oh, okay.
It's just weird things stay in my mind. But yeah, like that, it makes sense. Like a lot of my ideas come from when I'm up all night and I'm like playing my guitar.
Delirious.
'Cause yeah, sometimes like sleep deprivation is a crazy writing tool. I don't know why, but it works.
It
'Cause
really does get you into some weird place because I find if I stay awake, I'm like wanting to make music. The last time that I did, I stayed up till 4, and I think that was like 3 months ago because it was the last time I had the opportunity. No, it was when I had COVID. I think the last like few days were
well,
after I got better. It was after I got better because it was 8 days.
okay.
I had to be quarantined for 14 days. It was like within the last 3 or 4 days of the quarantine that I was just
Yeah.
like staying up late because I fucking slept for like 2 days straight, right? So I stayed
You're
up.
all out of whack. Yeah.
But then like when you stay awake, you just feel fucking weird. You don't even feel like yourself. You feel like you're just accessing some weird part. Things just start seeping in from your subconscious. They just start, let me just get in here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I always go back to that song that woke me up. You know, I was like half asleep and I
Oh,
wrote that
yeah.
song. So it's weird. Yeah, it does happen though. I mean, like Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Apparently, Keith Richards like woke up in the middle of the night and then he was thinking and he had the idea for the riff and he recorded it into like a little like 2-track recorder and then like went back to bed and then like listened to it in the morning and was like, holy shit. And then they recorded the song.
Isn't that so funny that, remember the story I told you of Colin? He didn't know he hung out with Keith Richards. Keith Richards asked him to get him some weed. Huh?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't even fucking know who that was. And I felt like such an idiot because I can't remember the story, but I told him he has to tell it to me again because he's traveled a lot.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of cool stories. Anyways, enough of your bullshit. The album's music features the styles of industrial rock, electro-industrial, electronic, and digital hardcore. Reznor called Year Zero a shift in direction in that it doesn't sound like With Teeth. It doesn't. He also said that when he finishes a new album, he has to go into battle with the people whose job it is to figure out how to sell the record. The only time that didn't happen was for With Teeth. This time, however, he was expecting an epic struggle. Year Zero is not a particularly friendly record, and it certainly doesn't sound like anything else out there right now. It really isn't friendly. It is anything but friendly.
It definitely isn't inviting to
No.
the listener. You have to kind of give it a few listens and get into it.
Man,
like,
I just must be biased. I just like that hard grungy sound. I just like that sound. I like the grindiness. I like the With Teeth is full of like sexy bass lines. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I can walk down the street to this and bob my head and think I'm the coolest motherfucker around. Remember that song,
Well,
I'm the Boss? Who was it? James
Brown.
Yeah. Like that feeling, that vibe. Yeah.
Paid the cost to be the boss. Yeah.
Yeah, that vibe.
Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say, Karen.
You fucking idiot. 15 original tracks were considered for inclusion on the album, which Reznor described as highly conceptual, quite noisy, fucking cool. Reznor also described the album as a collage of sound type of thing. Citing musical inspiration from early Public Enemy records, specifically the production techniques of the Bomb Squad. Most of Year Zero's musical elements were created by Reznor solely on his laptop, as opposed to the instrument-heavy With Teeth. AllMusic's review described the album's laptop mix sound. Guitars squall against glitches, beeps, pops, and blotches of blurry sonic attacks. Sonic. That's the right word to use. Sonic. Percussion looms large, distorted, organic, looped, screwed, spindled, and broken. Many reviews of the album compared the album's electronic sound to earlier Nine Inch Nails releases such as The Downward Spiral and The Fragile, while contrasting its heavily modified sounds to the more organic approach of With Teeth. With the teeth. Where is that? Many critics also commented on the album's overall tone, including descriptions such as lots of silver and gray ambience. I like that. That's so true. I would never think to describe something like that because I'm not proficient with language and description. Huh. That's why I don't write a music magazine. And reference to the album's oblique tone. The New York Times review described the album's sound by saying hard beats are softened with distortion, static cushions, the tantrums, sneaky bass lines float beneath the surface. The article went on to describe individual tracks, and as usual, the music is packed with details. Meet Your Master goes through at least 3 cycles of decay and rebirth. Part of the fun of the warning is tracking the ever-mutating timbres. What's a timbre?
It's timbre, so... Well, that's how I pronounce it anyway. So it's the sound of an instrument. Like, so when you play an acoustic guitar, like if you strum it, it's a very different sound. Like if you play it with a guitar pick or you use your fingernails or your thumb, you know, like.
Yeah. Show me.
Like if I go, or if then I go. So your thumb. Then your fingernail.
Yeah, and that is described as the timbre.
The timbre.
It's timbre. How are you getting timbre? You're because fucking English.
That's what Rick Beato said.
Oh, fine. Okay, fine. All right. I stand corrected if Rick Beato says timbre.
Well, that's how I've heard it said. So.
I'm just going to go with that because he's kind of a musical genius. He's so cool, man, Rick Beato. He's just a fucking cool dude.
It's dad rock, for sure.
He is dad rock. You know the old white man I tell Michael that he listens to the music of? Rick Beato is that guy.
He is, yeah.
Silver Fox musical genius. He's so cool. He has that, like, rock star attitude, but he doesn't have that rock star cuntiness, you know?
Yeah. He's down to it, guy.
Many of the songs on the album feature an extended instrumental ending, which encompasses the entire second half of the 3-minute-long The Great Destroyer. I am the Great Destroyer. The album was co-produced by Reznor and Atticus Ross, mixed by longtime collaborator Alan Mulder, and mastered by Brian Gardner. The album features instrumental contributions by live band member Josh Freese and vocals by Saul Williams. Okay. Themes.
Ew.
You're gross. Oh my god, you're so gross. Nine Inch Nails' 2006 tour merchandise designs featured overt references to the United States military, which Trent Reznor said reflected future directions. See, this guy's he's like a wizard. Here's the thing. Remember the thing I said to you about music? It's about patterns, right? It's about being good with patterns, creating patterns, blah, 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 blah. Like, he just seems like somebody who's good at finding patterns, creating. He's good with patterns. The people who are, like, super in tune, man, they see the same patterns. We all know history repeats itself, and it's just like, it is a warning. The album is like a warning, is what it feels like looking in hindsight now. It's like 2007, we thought shit was going downhill then, but it was just building. I mean, everything was building up the whole time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you would be forgiven to think that. I mean, that was around the time of the financial crisis.
Yeah, that was George Bush era.
Yeah.
That cool guy. Reznor.
Say what you want about George Bush, but he could dodge a shoe. I'm just gonna get my laptop charger. I'll be 2 seconds.
Okay, I'm gonna get a drink. We can just pause right now.
What?
I'm just gonna pause us right now. I emptied the screen, so I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Let's play your song in the meantime, actually.
Shit.
What a good idea. Ready? Ouch. God, I'm so clumsy.
Can they hear us?
I can hear you. Yeah, they can hear it. They've been able to hear the whole time. I just played your song while I was gone because I had to pee too.
Oh, okay.
They can't see us though. We're just a blank. Sorry.
Okay, so should I put my clothes back on?
We're back now.
Should I put my clothes back on?
Your clothes are on, you fucking loser. Funny joke though. Ha ha ha. So, apparently, it's now unacceptable to use the language of master and slave. Speaking of meet your master.
Well, there goes our role play then, I guess.
No, why?
We're not allowed to.
Like I care. Where are you going?
I was saying hi to people in the chat and asking shit because you were gone.
I didn't even know there was people there. Oh, Gaby.
And Kelsey.
Oh, Kelsey! Where's Kelsey? I don't see him.
He says, hi, friends.
I don't see him. Oh, there he is. Up there. Hi, Kels. We talked for 4.5 hours last night.
I still need to listen to the rest of it.
Oh my god, it was so good. It was way better than talking to you.
Wow. Me and Kelsey should do our own podcast then.
You guys should. You guys should talk about Bob Dylan. Because he's definitely one of your guys' faves. That would be so fun. Yeah. You know what I was telling him? I told him he should come talk to us. We also want to listen to his album too, right?
Yeah.
Which he said was fine.
So we should listen to it and then get him on and ask him questions.
Yeah, that would be so fun. But then I want to do yours too.
Yeah, we'll do that eventually. Like, we can do that whenever. We'll just, there's no point in like being like, we'll do this time.
Well, I mean, it's just on the list of things we want to do. It's not like we have a super plan. It's just like kind of fun to hang out and talk about this stuff. And I like homework.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll figure out like what the deal is with Twitch, and then,
You don't like YouTube?
I do like YouTube. It's just I would like to be able to actually like have the music so we can like reference it. Especially with heads like sieves, you know what I mean?
Not you, me.
Oh no, my head's a fucking hole.
Head like a hole, as dark as your soul. That is so you. I don't think you have a soul. You were born in Ginge, weren't you?
Oh yeah. Can't you see the like Albany color in my hair?
No, not really. It's just brown. Like shit.
In the summer. In the summer it gets like copper. Like I'll have like hairs that turns like coppery color.
So you don't have a soul. Are you Jewish too?
It's hollow in here. I used to think I was because my grandmother's maiden name was Levy. But it turns out she's not Jewish at all. Genetically speaking anyway. Which apparently means nothing. If the females aren't Jewish, you're not Jewish apparently.
Really?
Yeah, like your mother has to be Jew. You have to be Jewish on your mother's side, not your father's side. Apparently. I don't know though. What are you eating?
On hands and knees, we crawl. Oh. You cannot stop us all. It was an orange.
An orange? That looks like a Satsuma.
Oh, you're so fancy.
Why is that fancy? Small orange.
It's like a Satsuma.
Or a tangerine.
Something like that. It's the peely ones. It's a peeler, mate.
What orange don't you peel?
Well, a regular orange, I usually just cut into it. Mandarins I peel, clementines I peel, and whatever the fuck these are. These might actually be mandarins. But there's like an orange that the skin is too tough on the outside, so it doesn't peel the same. So I just cut it and then I suck on it.
That fucking AMSR.
AMNESIAC, yeah.
AMNESIAC. Get that AMNESIAC going.
Well. Yeah.
So where were we?
Oh. The album criticizes the American government's policies and could be about the end of the world. Reznor specifically cited what he labeled as the erosion of freedoms. Ooh, doesn't that give you chills? Ugh. The erosion of freedoms and the way that we treat the rest of the world as our own citizens. Reznor had previously called the results of the 2004 U.S. election one step closer to the end of the world. This is the beginning. Even though the fictional story begins in January 2007, the timeline of the album and alternate reality game mentions historical events such as the September 11 attacks and the Iraq War. From there, fictional events lead to worldwide chaos, including bioterrorism attacks, the United States engaging in nuclear war with Iran, and the elimination of American civil liberties at the hands of the fictional government agency, the Bureau of Morality. Oh my god, that's what the fucking group of people now who's like trying to tell everybody how to behave should be called. The Bureau of Morality.
Sounds like something from, an Orwell novel or something.
Right. Regardless of being fictional, a columnist of the Hartford Courant commented, "What's scary is that this doesn't seem as far-fetched as it should. Given recent revelations about the FBI's abuse of the Patriot Act and the dissent equals disloyalty doublespeak coming out of Washington in recent years." That doublespeak shit, I don't like it. All of the artwork for Year Zero was created by Rob Sheridan. Who cares about the artwork? Oh, wait. Included with the album is a small insert that is a warning from the fictional United States Bureau of Morality with a phone number to report people who have engaged in subversive acts. When the number is called, a recording from the USBM is played, claiming by calling this number, you and your family are implicitly pleading guilty to the consumption of anti-American media and have been flagged as potential militants. That's kind of funny. It was named one of the best album covers of 2007 by Rolling Stone. Oh, this is
really
where the art
creepy.
is resistance.
Like a hand.
Yeah, the hand
like a
coming out of the
hand
sky. All
Creepy.
right, promotion. While work continued on the album, Reznor hinted in an interview that it was part of a bigger picture of a number of things I'm working on. You know what's going to be crazy? Like, by the end of his career, there's just going to be, like, parts of a larger story that, like, every motif kind of feeds into, you know? They converge into one thing. Anyways, but in February 2007, fans discovered that a new Nine Inch Nails tour T-shirt contained highlighted letters that spelled out the words "I am trying to believe," which is actually from, what's that fucking song? I think it's The Good Soldier. Yeah, it is The Good Soldier. Yep. It was The Good Soldier. I am trying to believe. I am trying to see. This is not where I should be. I am trying to believe. See, this album I know the lyrics of mostly. This phrase was registered as a website URL and soon... See, he does this fucking weird shit. Okay, this phrase was registered as a website URL, and soon several related websites were also discovered in the IP range, all describing a dystopian vision of the fictional Year Zero. It was later reported that 42 Entertainment had created these websites to promote Year Zero as part of an alternate reality game. Oh, so that's what it is. The Year Zero story takes place in the United States in the year 2022, or Year Zero, according to the American government, being the year that America was reborn. The United States has suffered several major terrorist attacks, and in response, the government has seized absolute control on the country and reverted to a Christian fundamentalist theocracy. The government maintains control of the populace through institutions such as the Bureau of Morality and the First Evangelical Church of Plano, as well as increased surveillance and the secret drugging of tap water with a mild sedative. In response to
Turning the frickin' frogs gay.
Oh my god. In response to the increasing oppression of the government, several corporate government and subversive websites were transported back in time to present by a group of scientists working clandestinely against the authoritarian government. The websites from the future were sent to the year 2007 to warn the American people of the impending dystopian future. That's so crazy. And to prevent it from ever forming in the first place. Good fucking luck. Didn't work, Trent. The Year Zero game consisted of an expansive series of websites, phone numbers, emails, videos, MP3s, murals, and other media. So it's like a legit game. When they said alternate reality game, I was thinking video game. But it's actually like all these crazy websites and like all these weird things and clues that he would hand out and stuff. That's way cooler.
It's like a treasure hunt.
It's like a simulation.
About digital treasure hunts. Do you ever do treasure hunts at school?
Yeah, Easter egg hunts.
Well, that's not really a treasure hunt.
Kind of. It had chocolate in it.
Yeah, but a treasure hunt, like, you get given, like, riddles and stuff.
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
gotta,
yeah.
figure it out.
I've always wanted to do one of those, they have these things where you can do, like, a murder mystery, where you go to a place, and they have, like, clues hidden in places, and, like, each clue
Real life
leads to...
Cluedo.
Yeah. Where was I? Each new piece of media contained various hints and clues to discover the next, relying on fan participation to discover each new facet of the expanding game. Rolling Stone described the fan involvement in this promotion as the marketing team's dream. Yeah, that's genius, then. Reznor, however, argued that marketing was an inaccurate description of the game and that it was not some kind of gimmick to get you to buy a record. It is the art form. Part of this promotional campaign involved USB drives that were left in concert venues for fans to find during Nine Inch Nails' 2007 European tour. During a concert in Lisbon, Portugal, a USB flash drive was found in a bathroom stall containing a high-quality MP3 of the track My Violent Heart, a song from the then unreleased album. Another USB drive was found at a concert in Barcelona, Spain, containing the track Me, I'm Not. Messages found on the drives and tour clothing led to additional... Fuck, that's crazy. Led to additional websites and images from the game and the early release of several unheard songs from the album. Following the discovery of the USB drives, the high-quality audio files quickly circulated the internet. Owners of websites hosting the files soon received cease and desist orders from the Recording Industry Association of America, despite Interscope having sanctioned the viral campaign and the early release of the tracks, Reznor told The Guardian. The USB drive was simply a mechanism of leaking the music and data we wanted out there. The medium of the CD is outdated and irrelevant. It's really painfully obvious that what people want, DRM-free music... DRM-free music?
Digital rights something.
Let me see. I should just click on it. Digital rights management. Okay. Free music, they can do what they want with. If the greedy record industry would embrace that concept, I truly think people would pay for music and consume more of it. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to, like, be the artist who puts out a game or music and then you're getting in trouble from, like, some larger industry douchebags.
Oh, it always happens, yeah. It even happens with independent labels now, like Mac DeMarco would like play acoustic versions of like new songs off his like new album, and he would play like an acoustic version for like somebody doing an interview, and then they'd like put up a video of it on YouTube, and then like his label would like argue to get it taken down and shit. It's crazy.
That's really stupid shit. On February 22nd, 2007, a teaser trailer was released through the official Year Zero website. It featured a quick glimpse of a blue road sign that said, I am trying to believe, as well as a distorted glimpse of the presence from the album cover, the presence being the hand. In March, the multi-track audio files of Year Zero's first single, Survivalism, were released in GarageBand format for fan remixing. The multi-track files for Capital G, My Violent Heart, and Me, I'm Not were released the following month, and files for The Beginning of the End, Vessel, and God Given were released on the month after that. In response to an early leak of the album, the entire album became available for streaming on Nine Inch Nails' MySpace page a week before the album's official release. Wow, cool,
I like that the fan mixing concept.
Yeah.
A lot of groups have done that. That's really cool. Like that's something I'd definitely like to do. There's a YouTube channel called I think Gear Gods or something, and they do like a monthly mix challenge with some other company where they contact bands and they give them like the stem tracks to certain songs, and then people have to do mixes of those stem tracks, and then like the best mix, like they win like a bunch of gear and stuff.
That's so cool. Really, that's fun. It's fun to get like the involvement from the fans as well. You know what I mean? That's what's cool about it.
Fun interaction, yeah.
To make people feel like they're a part of the thing that they love.
Because they are, but like, you know, because they're actively going to see the bands and support.
But not in the same way of like this game idea is so fucking cool. And then on top of that, giving them multi-track like accessibility to people so that they can like play with it, remix it, do whatever. That's kind of cool too.
Oh yeah, I think it's like artists have really had to like adapt to how the music industry's changed, and I think that's a genius way of doing it for sure.
Track listing, okay. There's nothing about the lyrics though. I guess the whole it describes it via the theme, right? Like the entire
concept, yeah.
Yeah, because it is a concept album, so every song is obviously related to that concept. What did you say your favorite songs were again? I
wrote them down. I think it was Zero Sum was definitely like my favorite of them all, but then The Beginning of the End and The Good Soldier, I would say probably in order it would be Zero Sum, The Good Soldier, and The Beginning of the End. Like definitely.
Man, I think all of our songs are totally different. My Violent Heart is probably my number one, and then Capital G is my second, and then The Greater Good is my third. I like another version of The Truth too. I also really love In This Twilight. That's like such a nice song.
Another version of The Truth I really liked as well. But it was those three that really stuck out to me. Like the songs that I think like I go back to listen to, like they're obviously always my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But this album was good. But I would say out of all three that you sent me, I would probably say Hesitation Marks.
I gotta say, I think that's my favorite of the three too. I
Yeah, for
really do
sure.
love the Fragile though. Like it's hard because there's like there's just some killer fucking songs on the Fragile, and like I've listened to that album front to back several times. But Hesitation Marks, I love the way, like, Copy of a Copy is so clever. When we were talking about that, that's a great song. All Time Low, I think, is right now my favorite Nine Inch Nails song. And then there's that really soft one.
The French name.
No, La Mer is off the Fragile, but I'm talking about Hesitation Marks now. It's close to All Time Low. Satellite was a good song on that too.
Satellite's probably my favorite of all the albums.
Oh my god. Find My Way. Find My Way.
No.
That song is so, like, I don't know if you're like a functioning human being, I don't know how nobody can relate to that song. And like the piano keys in that fucking song and the pace of that song, it's just, I don't know. Every time I listen to that song, I feel like I'm gonna cry. Cause I'm like, you're like an atheist, you don't believe in God, and you're like, Lord, my path is gone astray. Because like, you know, when people get to a point where they're desperate and they're lost and they're scared, like that's a lot of the time what people will do is like turn to prayer, you know?
It's the refuge of the desperate.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's such a, that song is so beautiful.
Well, I think, like, you know, I'm an anti-theist, an atheist, whatever you want to put it. But some of George Harrison's religious material. I'm only messing. It's the other guitar player from the Beatles.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. I know John Lennon. I was gonna say John Lenner.
Lenner. Yeah, he got quite spiritual, but he wrote like a song called My Lord, which is a great song and it's quite religious. And there's another one which is quite religious, which is just, it's got this really great brass section in. It's so good. It's like one of my favorite songs ever written.
Why don't you fucking send it to me?
All right, then I will.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you about it like last week or something.
I think you've told me about a lot of songs repeatedly because you're a broken record. So, and that's okay because I forget shit. So I need you to be a broken record. Don't fucking look at me like that.
Get out me eye. Get out me eye, girl.
No, never. I'm always gonna live there. Where do you think that sparkle comes from? Come on. What?
Well, I can't play it because we'll definitely have this taken down because it's George Harrison. So.
That's okay. You can just send it to me.
Yeah, but I'm trying to. I think, what's it called? It's great. Brass section's amazing in it. Like just a brilliant song.
I'll look for it. So did you like this album? What was your order again? It was okay. I made you listen to The Fragile, Hesitation Marks, and now Year Zero. What was the order you liked these ones in?
The albums, I would say, The Fragile. No,
Hesitation Marks was your fave.
Hesitation Marks, then The Fragile, and then yeah.
See, I'm such a girl. My answer is.
I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think I put Year Zero first because I like how to the point it is. The Fragile, there was so much work on it. Like there was so many songs and it had like a whole kind of instrumental cinematic thing and it was like really dense and there was a lot to go through. And I think that's why Hesitation Marks is my favorite because it had a lot of my favorite songs on it out of all of them. And then also it was like real straight to the point like album format that I'm used to, which is like, you know, 45 minutes or a little bit longer. And you know, really like about songwriting. So yeah, I would say Hesitation Marks, Year Zero, and then The Fragile.
It's really hard for me to pick an album of theirs because like once you throw With Teeth into the mix, it's like you can't do that to me.
Yeah, but we're talking about the ones that we listen to, so.
I think mine would be, yeah, I think I'd go Hesitation Marks, The Fragile, Year Zero. But I was going to say I'm such a girl, it really depends on my mood. Because if tomorrow I'm feeling like I need to release some aggression, I'm going to listen to Year Zero. And it's going to be my favorite that day. And if I'm on my period 3 days from now, and I'm feeling kind of like, then The Fragile will be my favorite.
Yeah.
But
when I've got a bit of man flu, I usually put a bit of Elliott Smith on, or for sure.
Of course, Elliott Smith. You just want to get yourself on the verge of suicide, like listening to Elliott Smith. He's miserable. Well, he's a miserable cunt.
Well, I mean, see, I think one of the songs I put in the 5 songs that we've been listening to that you put in the description, that's a song called "In the Lost and Found" by Elliott Smith, and that's like really upbeat sounding.
Doesn't matter. He's still a miserable cunt. I'm kidding. I've heard some of his stuff. I like it. I'm just making fun.
I know. Well, me and Kelsey will talk about Elliott Smith one time, and you can fuck off.
No, I want to come too. I'll just be the accessory. You guys can talk.
You'll be the arm candy.
You know what I'll do? I'll be your guys' Shannon. I'll look up stuff for you and feed you information while you guys are talking. That would be so fun.
You'll be Jamie, but we'll call you Jasmine, and we'll be like, give it a goog, Jasmine.
Give it a goog, Jazzo. I can't. I fucked it. I can't. I can't do it. I'm already thinking of like, I want to order chow mein.
That was fucking brilliant.
What? My retardation? Give
it a goog, Jazzo. Yeah, you just need to watch your back. It was fucking great. Or blame it on the drink.
Yeah, I think I already did. So, okay. Now we've done 3 of each. What is your take on 9 Inch Nails? Because you've never really listened to them before.
So, when it comes to like industrial metal or whatever they call it, that kind of industrial sound, it never really stuck with me. I think a lot of bands that did that stuff, like I think Rob Zombie did quite a lot of that stuff, Marilyn Manson. There were some songs that were like, all right, that's great, sounds great. But the sounds just never, it felt like there was a loss of dynamics, but the way Trent uses it, he applies a lot of dynamics in the song arrangement. So it gave me a new appreciation for that sound. I think my view on them now, listening to these albums, well, on him mainly, is I have a lot more of appreciation for what he's done. Because, you know, I found out about 9 Inch Nails because of Johnny Cash covering Hurt. And that was as far as I went into it, was going, oh, I wonder what the original sounds like. But yeah, I really like the kind of, I just like how he can bring like a human element to a more electronic approach to music. And so yeah, I think they're not gonna be my favorite band anytime soon, but if somebody was like, let's put this album on and listen to it, I wouldn't be like, oh no, don't, you know. So yeah, and I also think that conceptually and just as a musician, it's great to see somebody who isn't like dead because of their drug issues, who actually turned it around and is actually a positive influence, where it's like, you don't have to be some like drugged up idiot to be a musician. Like, you can actually be healthy and have your shit together, and it can actually work in your favor.
Yeah.
So,
he's gotten better with time.
As a musician.
Yeah, he's gotten better with time.
As a man and a musician, I really respect him now, for sure.
That makes me happy.
What about you? What are your favorite songs or favorite albums when it comes to Radiohead? Because I know you'd listened to some of this stuff before.
Well, I mean, I heard the main songs, right? Like Creep. Everybody knows the song Creep because that was such a popular fucking song back in the day. I haven't actually heard that album, and I will. Like, Radiohead is someone I will give a listen to now. Like, now that I've heard the 3 albums that I have, I'm more interested to hear OK Computer and the other ones on my own time. I don't feel like I need it assigned to me. But obviously, like, I'm not as privy to music, so it's nice that, like, I got something and I liked it, and now I want to learn or listen to more. And I find Radiohead to be exploratory. They're weird. Tom York is fucking weird. I like his energy. Like, he is so fun to watch perform, and that actually makes me like the music way more. Like, I like people who get lost in their experiences with music. That's why I like Trent. Like, he just fucks off for a while, and then he'll return, like, fucking how many years later with some bomb-ass album, and you're like, okay. And I'm saying that as someone who's also ill-experienced with Nine Inch Nails. Like, Only has probably been my favorite song of all time since, like, 2000 and, I don't know, 4 or whatever the hell it was. Because that was the only single I'd heard off that album. But, like, now, like, over the past few months, I just got super obsessed. So I listened to everything over and over again, watched the documentaries, did the whole get obsessed and really deep dive thing, and, like, it's completely changed my relationship to Nine Inch Nails. Like, I know I do this on my own, but, like, I find that when he says things, no matter how he means them, it's very easy for myself to relate to the lyrics. Obviously, it's my own projection, right? But I like that. I like that I can relate to the things that he's talking about and the ways that he expresses the way he feels. Like, Echoplex is one of those songs. You haven't heard that album. That's a good one too. The Slip is a great album. Yeah, I'm just going to assign that to you whenever you have time, you should give that one a listen, because there's a lot of good songs on The Slip.
I think I'm going to subscribe to the Nine Inch Nails YouTube channel.
Yeah, I did that.
Like, we've got most of the albums up there, so...
He has been really, like, as soon as quarantine started, he was releasing some music. And he has several just instrumental albums, and it's called Ghosts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think there's 10 now. Like, it's crazy. He has a lot of music, like hours and hours and hours of just composers. And even his other stuff, like him and Atticus Ross did the score for the Vietnam movie, or the Vietnam docuseries on Netflix. Really good, but also extremely unsettling, because obviously the imagery is, like, all war and people dying and, like, all that fucked up shit. Like, when you hear the music, you're like, this is what people dying would sound like if it was music. That's how good he is. You know what I mean? Like, he's so good at conveying a scene with music.
Well, that's where the training comes in.
Yeah.
Because if you know that the Mixolydian scale will sound a certain way, and then the whole rhythm. I mean, rhythm, like, if you're going to do something more staccato, like stabby, those things are more intuitive. But when it comes to actual, like, theory, like, to convey an emotion, it's a lot more complicated than minor chord sad, major chord happy.
Yeah, I'm definitely finding that. And you can certainly tell the difference in proficiency between someone like me who's, like, not classically trained versus, like, a Joel or a Trent. Like, Joel's the same. He was classically trained for several years. That's what his parents put him into when he was young. And, like, I always harp on this one song. It's called Jaded. It's just an instrumental, but it really does somehow immaculately feel like the feeling of being jaded. That song sounds like what being jaded feels like. And even if it didn't before, he did a great job of doing that. It sounds so emo and gay, but it's just so true. Like, it works so good.
Well, there's a reason why there's theory, because this stuff does work.
Yeah.
If anyone thinks it's bullshit, like, they haven't got an ear, or their head isn't connected to the heart.
Their head isn't connected to their neck bone.
Neck bone connected to the
shoulder bone.
No. Well, you're gonna finish it off there.
I did. I said shoulder bone. That's not right, though. So what have you been
Well,
listening
if
to
you really
lately?
wanna get- well, let's send you those 5 songs tonight.
Oh yeah, let's talk about those.
Okay.
All
So
right,
the
let's do
first.
yours first.
Okay.
Rapeman Monobrow. Monobrow? That's way better than Unibrow.
So that's the name of the song,
Yes.
and the band's called Rapeman, which was Steve Albini's kind of. It was like a. I think it was a
Who's
one-off
Steve
album.
Albini? You have to remember who you're talking to, Sean.
So Steve Albini is a producer mainly, but he's got a band called Shellac. He also had a band called Big Black, and it's very aggressive guitar, drums, and bass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not vocal obviously. Just very like, you know, distorted, heavy, jarring, kind of atonal, almost amusical music. It's just really aggressive, and he produced Nirvana's last album, or well, engineered. He calls himself an engineer rather than a producer because he doesn't tell the bands like what to do or like how, you know, maybe this chorus needs to go into a bridge here. He just records them, and he also takes a flat fee when he records an album. So usually producers or engineers will get paid every year, you know, like they'll get royalties on the album, so that every time the album makes money, they make money in the foreseeable future. But Steve Albini sees himself as like, you know, like a plumber or an electrician. He just does the job on the day, and then that's what he gets paid for, and then that's it, which is quite admirable in my opinion. But yeah, so he also has bands, and that's one of his. I think it was like a one-off record, and that song is just so aggressive, and then it goes into this like dance beat, and it's just
Dance beat? Aggressive to a
yeah,
dance beat.
yeah, it's like really aggressive. And like Shellac and Big Black do a lot of this thing where they just do these like single hits, and then a riff will go off, and then it's like single hit. It's like, and the drums just sound so big and like crusty. You know what I mean? I love it.
Crusty.
Yeah, just like crunching, you know. And so do the guitars. Like he uses this thing called a oh, what's the pedal called? Can't remember the name of the pedal. It's a guitar pedal, which is like one of the first versions of distortion, but they never really stuck. I'll have to remember the name of it. But yeah, anyway. So that song, which is a great song, everyone should check out. And then, do you want to say the next one?
Elliott Smith in The Lost and Found. Oh God, here we go with Elliott Smith again.
It's the one I was talking about before.
Yeah.
It's really cool. That was the song that got me into Elliott Smith, and I've been listening to it lately because they're releasing some demos, or a demo of a few songs that he released, but they're like kind of unheard versions. And apparently they're releasing an album soon as well of his stuff. I was reading an article.
Is he dead now?
He died in like 2008 or something like that. It's funny actually because they don't know. People think his girlfriend killed him because they say he stabbed himself in the chest, which is like a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
To stab yourself.
Yeah.
And she had like blood all over her hands, which she said she was trying to save him, and it's all kind of, it's like conspiratorial. It gets really messy, you know. But his family haven't tried to like go after her or anything, so I think he probably did do it, which is fucked up. But he was on a lot of drugs, and he, at the time, like maybe a year or something before that, he thought the record company was following him in like white vans and stuff. Like he was so paranoid, and he was on all sorts of crazy drugs. Apparently he was doing crack and all sorts. But anyway, that was the first song that I heard by him, and it just sent me off on, you know, my exploring his albums, and I always loved that album. I mean, I always loved that song. And it's got a really cool honky tonk piano. The lyrics are really cool, and the harmonies are great, and it just builds. It's got that classic kind of Elliott Smith thing where it builds in this uneven, spontaneous way that it's just perfect.
No, you're so cute. Yeah.
He's amazing. And then Nolan Porter, Keep On Keeping On, which is just a great Northern Soul track, just a really like upbeat, Northern Soul, kind of James Brownie feeling track. Great guitars, great drums, great vocals. And then Fontaines D.C, Big, which is this new Irish band, and they're getting quite big at the moment.
Yeah, I've never heard of them, but I mean that's not anything worth noting at all.
They're pretty new. They were quite underground for a while, but they're really good, like good Irish boys, And I've always liked the song. The lyrics are amazing. Like one of the lyrics, just Dublin in the rain. So Dublin, like the Irish city, Dublin in the rain is mine, and like that always, Liverpool in the rain is very much like Dublin in the rain, and like that's my, I love the city when it's in the rain. Like I just love that. It's got to sit, especially when like the sun comes out and it doesn't know what weather it wants to decide to, and you get that kind of day glow.
That's my constant state of being.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what it's like sometimes, and that lyric always resonated with me. And then also the music video, it's like this little kid walking down a street in Dublin, and it looks very much like Bold Street, which I spent a lot of time on in Liverpool. And then the last song is Oliver Tree, Miracle Man, which is just great song. And I
feel like you and Michael would get along so well because you all like old white man music.
Well, I mean, Oliver Tree and Fontaines D.C are quite new, but yeah, you're right. They come from like that old tradition.
Yeah.
Which is like if anyone out there listening likes The Fall, the Fontaines D.C are very much like The Fall. So if you like Marky Smith and stuff like that, you should check it out.
I like that that guitar, like simple band sound myself. Like, there was an album that Michael and I listened to at work called Thick Freakness by the Black Keys. Man, I love the Black Keys. Like, there's just something about that sound that's so authentic, and it's like, it's just a guy with a guitar and a set of drums, and they're just like singing and stuff, and just it's just very simple, but there's something really charming about that simple music sound.
Yeah, they're very minimalistic. I've never really got into them, but I've seen them like play live on YouTube and stuff, and I think they don't even, half the time, they don't have a bass player with them. It's just, like, I think the guitar player uses, like, what's the name? I've got one down here. I've got the guitar pedal, but I can't remember the name of it.
What a show off.
It basically takes the guitar signal, and then it adds an extra signal in it's basically an octave pedal. So it takes, like...
Oh, is that the thing you showed me last time? I think we were on the phone. We weren't on the stream. It does something to the... It's like a pedal.
I remember on a stream I showed you a pedal. I showed you my, like this boutique pedal I've got.
Maybe that's what it was.
Something else, but yeah, that's probably what it was. But an octave pedal basically takes like the guitar notes, say the guitar notes are like one octave, then it adds a lower octave or a higher octave, and I think that guitar player adds like a lower octave, so he has that bass frequency, because if they have got a bass player, they need some bass frequency there, which is interesting. Very minimalistic, you're right.
It's like the White Stripes. I like them too. The Raconteurs are good too. I like the Raconteurs. There's like a rock sound that they have that's very simple and minimalistic, and I just like it. There's so much personality in the White Stripes that remember that Seven Nation Army video? Have you seen it? It's such a good video. Yeah. Oh my God, what a cool video. The song is like plain, but Jack White and I guess his sister and that video, like they're just fucking heavy personality people. So like that comes through in their music by the way that Jack White plays with his voice and uses his voice. It's like Trent Reznor, right? Like you would never see the guy and be like, oh my God, he's a wild personality, but he's very good at projecting himself through that medium, like he's very versatile with his voice. He's very good at being sexy and then building tension and being like, meh! Like just a range. He's good at a range of things with his voice.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, talking about that like old school sound, Jack White has a record shop. I think he has a label as well, like a record label. But anyway, he has a record shop and he has this like little booth with like one microphone in there, and you can go in there and record a song in the little booth, and then it presses your song to vinyl on like a little.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, on like a little like.
Where's that? Do you know where it is? They're UK. Are they from the UK? Or are they American? Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's in America somewhere. I think it's. I don't know what state, but I don't know if it's still there. But I've seen videos like people go in there with their guitar, record it, and it goes straight to vinyl.
That's so rad. See, that'd be something that'd be really cool for you, since you can actually play stuff.
You come one day. You just gotta put the work in.
Yes, I know. I'm gonna get a piano.
Do it.
Yeah. So what's next? Do we want to plan something for next week, or do we just want to? I wanted to do that thing with you where we went through Kurt Cobain's journal.
Yeah. Well, we could do that as a separate one.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like for next week or something.
Yeah. So what we could do that in the meantime, and then we could decide on an album we want to do.
Okay.
Or we could do the Wizards album.
The Wizards album.
Yeah, Kelsey.
Oh, you want to do that next week? Let's do that.
Well, we could do that next week if you want.
Okay.
I'll be up for that. But we'll have to set some time aside to listen to his album as well. So
we can listen to it live.
Okay then.
Right? We'll listen to it right away, and then we'll give our 2 cents right after we're done listening to per track. So we'll listen to a track, talk. Listen to a track. It'll be long, but it'll be fun, and you just need to be able to stay awake. So it's really up to you, darling.
I'll do it. Yeah, just we'll have to figure out what time to do it and all that. So
let's plan it a little bit more, because it's probably going to be. Let's say that, because this is already 2.5 hours. 2 hours 36 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. So yeah, we'll do the Kurt Cobain thing, and then figure out all that stuff out with Kelsey, and then once we've got a plan on that, we'll do that.
Okay.
Next time.
But I think you should assign me an album anyways, because I still need to learn more music. So can you just give me one?
Should I get my record? My little.
Yes.
I've got a small record collection. I could get that.
Yeah,
and see
go
what's
get
there.
it. Go.
I'll give you one of them.
Oh my God, it is like so the time for me to talk by myself, because he has been stealing my thunder this whole time, because he's such a professional and I am fucking not. But I want to learn. And who do you learn from? People who know stuff. Hold on, let me adjust you. Yo, Aimee, I highly recommend The Strokes. Is this it? Okay, The Strokes. Is this it? You got it. You know what else I was listening to? I actually was listening to The Strokes at work. I don't remember what I was listening to, but I was listening to it. Incredibly simple, but catchy. I really do like The Strokes. I think one of my favorite songs by them is called Reptilia, actually. That is a Stroke song, if I am correct. Reptilia? Confirm for me. I don't even know if Gabe's listening anymore. Let's see. Liked songs. Reptilia. Yeah, I knew it was the Strokes. Okay, so Reptilia is my favorite Stroke song that I'm aware of. What else have I been listening to aside from this? I listened to... Dude, I was like going back into my music collection. I'm talking, Sean, so don't fucking say anything or I'll fucking rip you apart.
Wham bam blanky man.
Oh, Black Betty, wham blam. Oh, Black Betty, wham blam.
Fucking throat just closed.
Oh my God. Okay. So I've also been listening to a lot of my older stuff. Kings of Leon used to be my favorite band back in the day. I saw them live. They're just so fantastic. And they have this like, they're like Southern, they're like scallies. They're American scallies, just Southern boys who do drugs all the time and fucking write rock music and throw guitars out windows type rock stars. Like they're just wild boys. And their albums are reflective of that like party scene where you're like outside, it's fucking Southern California and it's fucking sunny and everybody's like hanging out and fucking drinking beers. There's random skateboarders and like people riding by on scooters and shit. Like, you know, you can imagine the music video, right? And a lot of like happy kind of beachy guitar vibes and Like that song Soft, that's part of my 5, which by the way, that's what I should be talking about really. But I'm getting there. Hold on. I fucked this up right here.
Yeah, I remember that song.
Yeah. So my first song was 9 Inch Nails' Various Methods of Escape, which is actually off Hesitation Marks. I've been listening to that over and over and over again. That one, All Time Low, and Find My Way are like the 3 songs that I listen to repeatedly from that album. But this one in particular is very good. There's a new song I heard by Eddie, who is off Dead Mouse's label Mousetrap, and it's called Shine. That was a video, you know the video I sent you this morning where I'm dancing?
Oh, yeah.
That's that song. Franz Ferdinand, Take Me Out. That's my favorite song in the summer. It's just so good. That album is really good. It was the first time I listened to that album was when I like sent you the screenshot. I was at work. I listened to that whole album front to back, and it's so fun, man. Such a fun album. Like upbeat guitar and like.
Yeah, if you like that, you should listen to the Gang of Four.
Okay.
They're a big influence on them. Yeah. But you're right. It's very upbeat.
Very fun. Like even with some morbidity in the lyrics. Like I love that it's completely beguiled by just how upbeat and happy and summery and kind of like party time, fun time music it is. And then so this song I love, you sent to me, the hate to Say I Told You So by the Hives. That album, Veni Vidi Vicious, is also so much like, reminds me so much of like Franz Ferdinand. Reminds me of Modest Mouse.
Modest Mouse, yeah. Well, they have that bit. Like a lot of their riffs are quite like that, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the guitar. Yeah. It's like that upbeat kind of like, it has like a really pretty sound. The whatever they do to the guitar, it makes it sound really pretty. You know what I mean? Pretty and tropically, beachy, kind of California vibes. That thing.
Surfy.
Yeah, surfy. That's right. Beach Boysy.
It's like it's very single note.
Yeah.
Not a lot of chords. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That, oh my god, what was that Franz Ferdinand album, actually? Your Heavy Rotation. Oh, yeah,
that was really big when I was in high school.
What?
Franz Ferdinand were very big.
Fuck, they're so good, man. They're so fun. And then they came out with that second album with do 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 do.
So big. That was such a big song. It was everywhere.
Do ya wanna? Do ya wanna go? And then, oh yeah, Canada Day, I listened to Rush all day, because you have to.
Yeah.
Motion Pictures is like a really great album.
Yeah, my mate Billy was really into Rush. Him and Jack McKindo were really into Rush. And it was too
candy rock. It's like candy rock.
It was very like, look at me. You know, you see guitar solos, it's not like, look at me. It's like that rhythm to it. It just had that vibe. It was more like, it's prog rock, so I do like prog rock, but it had something about it that never sat well with me. I don't know.
So I have a recommendation here. Songs for the Deaf by Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh my god, that album, because Dave Grohl drums on it and he's a fucking monster. So
okay, I will write that.
There's the song, I think the title track, the song which got the same, I think it's got the same title as the album. It's just killer, and their bass player was crazy.
So what album of the Gang of Four should I listen to?
That's hard.
Fuck, just pick one, dude. Come on, dude.
Yeah, but I want to give you something that's like.
Yeah, but you know I can listen to more than one, right?
Aimee, you've got so much to listen to.
I know.
You need to be more precise with this. Wait there, let me look, because it's between two. What?
I was just flicking my tongue in the air for some reason.
Just go with Entertainment. That's the one I would say. or Solid Gold. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Metric?
Hard's good. Yeah, Metric. Yeah.
We got a
The
great
girl
Canadian
singer.
band too. Yes. Yeah.
Are they Canadian? Yeah. They got
Yes.
that song where it's like buy the car to drive to work to pay for this car. That's a really good song.
Do you know
I
what
can't
it's
remember the
called?
title of it. No, but that's the lyrics. I always stuck with me that because it's like a secular thing, you know.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a sentence palindrome type thing, right? Like
I
it
don't know it.
almost goes backwards, but not really.
Oh, okay. I don't know a lot of that. I was really bad with English at school.
Well, a
So
palindrome is like the word radar, where if you read it forward, it's read backwards in the
uh,
same way.
so you'll say it like metaphorically using it as
Yeah, I'm
if
just
you could
using it
say
as like a
sentence.
as like a way to kind of describe it, but it's actually quite inaccurate. And then as soon as I said it, I was like, "You're a fucking retard." Fucking
So
retard.
you got one more song.
So Gabe recommended The Strokes, Is This It? I got The Gang of Four, Entertainment. I got Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf. And that's what it is, right?
No, yeah, I was just because it has this like radio intro where it's like songs for the deaf. Great.
And then, it's so funny, like Spotify reminds me or recommends me so much, like, hey, here's like 8 90s playlists you may like. Here's a grunge 90s playlist. Here's a sludge 90s playlist. Like, just like lots of rock songs and like industrial rock, a lot of prog rock, like all this kind of stuff. Because I'm listening to the stuff now, right?
You should listen to the Melvins. The Melvins Houdini.
What was that album I listened to? The Laws album with Timeless Melody on it.
It's just called The Laws,
Yeah.
self-titled.
That was a
And if
really
you're gonna-
good one.
Oh, it's great, yeah. If you're gonna listen to the Melvins, you should listen to Scratch Acid as well.
What is that? Another band?
Another band, yeah. Either Keep Eating or I think it's a self-titled, just Scratch Acid. It's got like a strange like black figure on the front of it. That's a great album.
Okay.
Great album.
From Russia with Love. That's not what I need. Nothing is coming out of Russia with love, bro. Let's be real. Okay. I am going to pick one for you too.
What song or album?
You know what we should do? We should do the Buena Vista. Have you listened to the Buena Vista Social Club live from Carnegie Hall?
Is that the one where it's filmed? And they're all sitting down on chairs.
I don't know. I haven't seen the video. I just have seen.
Okay. Well, I think it
or
probably
listened.
is. It probably is, but yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
You're probably fucking wrong, but whatever. Let's see.
It's on YouTube, I'm sure.
Yes, it is.
I'm looking through these albums.
Here it is. Full album. Oh my god, it's so good too.
Have you ever listened to these?
No, what's that?
War Paint. Quite a new band. Like they've been out for a few years.
Oh my god. Oh, you can't hear what I'm hearing. That sucks.
No,
I wish I could listen with you. I guess I could share my sound through Discord. Ooh. Whoa, that's cool.
got it signed.
Hold on, I'm gonna put this link in the chat. This is so fucking good, man. You know what is so funny is like Michael's like the whitest ever, but he can like say some of the words and stuff. So he was just like mouthing it, and I'm like, you're so cultured. Like so that's like our joke now, because he's like, so my grandma's taking me and my dad and my mom and my sister out for this really nice, expensive like lunch to this French place. It's like on a vineyard. They serve you fucking really great food and like French onion soup and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, yes, you are so cultured. You are so cultured. Okay, there it is. I'm putting that in there because it's so good. And if you don't know about it, where have you been?
You ever listen to that?
No.
Joy Division.
Joy Division. Thank you.
That's the last album. Closer.
I only know of their main songs. I certainly could use.
Yeah, I think you've probably listened to that. Unknown Pleasures.
I will listen to anything. I can't discriminate with music. That's cool. I like that cover.
That's their first album.
You have Nine Inch Nails, not Nine Inch Nails, fucking Nirvana too, right? You have Nirvana records.
I think they should be, yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do while you're doing that? I'm gonna look for food because I'm a pig and I want to eat something.
Are we still streaming?
Yeah. Now we're just hanging out. It's okay.
So yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out with you.
Every Smiths.
Oh, yo, show me that cover. Is that a girl who's laying down?
That one, no, it's a guy.
Oh, okay. His face is really creepy.
Yeah, and then that's the famous one. Meet Is Murder.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, Nirvana.
That's so nice. That's In Utero, right?
Yeah, that's Kurt's like model work. Remember I was telling you, you buy like old secondhand like doctor like anatomy stuff.
Yeah.
School. And the first album.
What was the first one?
Bleach.
Oh, Bleach. That was when you were saying came out around the same time as Pretty Hate Machine.
Yeah, 89.
What's that?
Sun Kill Moon, which is a guy called Mark Kozilek, and he's like one of my favorite kind of new artists, and he just has the craziest style where he just writes these rambling lyrics and they're like these crazy long songs. But he's also got he's got an album where there's a song called Animals, which is about the album Animals by Pink Floyd, and it's like about
that I need to listen to. But yeah,
you listen to it in work, didn't you? I think.
I can't remember.
More Smiths, Nirvana again.
That one's Nevermind, yeah?
Yeah.
I like that one. I like Nevermind.
More Smiths. More Smiths. And then your favorite, Elliott Smith.
Yeah, my fave, for sure.
And then Towns Van Sant.
Ooh, what's that? That sounds cool.
Like,
how do you spell it?
It is TOWNES. Then Van, like Van, VAN. And then Sant is CANDT.
Z?
Z.
Yeah, I'm like, what kind of British person says Z? What are you, fucking American?
Yeah, because I'm used to talking to Americans online. ANDT.
Okay, got it.
Which is like he's like, out of all like the kind of like people call it country, but I don't really. He's just a great songwriter. Like Steve Earle said that he's better than Bob Dylan, and I think in a lot of ways you can kind of see why that's quite a true statement.
Give me a Bob Dylan album to listen to.
Oh God.
You just gotta pick one, okay?
Okay. Blonde on Blonde.
Of course you'd pick that one.
Yeah, well, that was just one that came to mind. I mean, Bring It All Back Home. Oh God. I mean, the stuff like. No, I can't pick one. Like, it's not
what's
fair.
a good introduction into Bob Dylan? That's difficult for you to fucking give me an answer for?
Yeah, because you've got like the early stuff. Stop it. You've got all the early stuff, and then you've got like when he went electric, and then you've got like the stuff where he was all religious, and then you've got like the stuff he did with the band when they were in like the fucking Pink House or whatever the fuck they called it. Like, and then you've got like before the motorcycle crash, after the motorcycle crash, and then you've got like all the stuff he did like in the 2000s, like which is like where he's like an old man, but he's doing like he's revisiting old songs and he's writing new ones that are like kind of just crazy danceable songs.
Give me a Bowie album.
Oh God.
I know I'm picking all the worst ones for you, right? That are like really hard to choose, but because they've been around for a long time.
I would just say Ziggy Stardust. That's the perfect place to start.
Okay.
Because that was kind of like the start of his career. And this album is one of my favorite albums of all time.
I like that cover, Nick Drake. What moon?
Pink.
Okay, Nick Drake.
Yeah, just, I mean, one of the best English guitar players. he sings melody lines like jazz clarinet lines, like they're just amazing.
Yeah.
And then that was his first album, Five Leaves Left, which is also very good. It's got Fruit Tree and Riverman.
You're a fruit tree.
Yeah, well, Fruit Tree's crazy because it's got a lyric in it that basically almost, it was like he foresaw what was going to happen to him. It's actually quite creepy. Riverman's like the first song everyone like hears by Nick Drake, which is, it's a great song. Like I challenge anyone to play that guitar riff and sing it at the same time. It's practically impossible. Yeah. Why have they only got the lyrics to those?
It's a nightmare. It's 6 o'clock on a Saturday, and it's weird because I don't work tomorrow.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? Yeah, look. Perfect emo.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I like that emo shit. You know why? Because it's fucking weird to be that. And I'm like, I use those people as inspiration, the ones who can like get into themselves and just be comfortable expressing. Because emotion, when it's raw, that's just what it is. Like, you can't alter that.
No, yeah.
Right? Raw emotion is just raw emotion. And like, it's way better. It's way more admirable when you're able to connect with that feeling and just express it into an art form, as opposed to pretend it doesn't exist and act like some fucking tough guy. I'm so sick of that tough guy shit, man. Fuck you, dude. The tough guy is the guy who's comfortable with being a human being, not who pretends he isn't. You bitch ass.
I think guys who think it's guys who don't like expressing their emotional feeling it are scared because they associate that with not being in control, which is
beta.
It's perfectly
You're not in control, loser. Don't you get it yet? Don't you fucking understand how the universe works? You're not in fucking control. So if you're running away from that, you a bitch. Bitch. You are. Remember the song I sent you? You're such a bitch. Yeah. Bitch.
Well, I think there's a difference between acknowledging your emotions and accepting them and then letting them control yourself, which is a big thing.
Yeah, but acknowledging really helps in that feeling of not being controlled by them. Look how so cute that is. That is like a Sean record cover.
Oh, look, right, look. Look at the guitar.
Oh, look at you.
It's the same.
You're so cute, Sean.
Ah, shit.
I'm looking at chicken chow mein.
Well, do you want to end the stream then?
No, not really. I just want to sit here and waste not. It's, you know, I want to waste time, but it's not a waste of time. And then I want to go out and smoke with you.
Okay. Is anyone still watching?
Who cares? I don't know. I haven't known the whole time. I like Gabe. Gabe's cool. We saw Kelsey. That's nice. I saw the Hardcore Gentleman for a second. He left a comment. Everybody missed out on how awesome my eye makeup looks today. You guys are fucking idiots.
Well, it did go with the original dress. And then
Yeah.
technology mishap.
Tech slip.
Tech slip.
Goddamn green screen problems.
I know, yeah.
But, you know, it's way better to feel comfortable and talk and just chill, I think, than it is to put on this goddamn show. Like, I was kind of thinking about, like, just some channels that are constantly putting out content, and it's like, dude, like, How can you be excited harping on the same thing every day? It just gets so stale so fast.
I don't know. Maybe it's like people are really autistic nowadays.
I think people are just stuck in loops, and they just want to be around the kind of people who are stuck in loops too, and everybody just keeps themselves stuck in loops, and it's just circular. Everything just repeats itself over and over again, and that's why. Is because like if you're not like venturing out of your conventional modes of thought, then you really are just gravitating towards people who think like you and talk like you and, you know, provide that fuel to continue that feedback loop of just your thoughts. And it gets boring. Like I like to listen to Larry Elder and like fucking people that I don't even know where I am politically, but in general, I mean, like I've always listened to I listen to a Gavin McInnes, and then I also listen to a Sam Harris. They're totally different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Totally different. Like, I don't even, like, Sam Harris would never talk to someone like Gavin McInnes. No fucking way. You know what I mean?
No.
It would be cool. I think it'd be interesting, and I wish he would, but his pursuits are just a little bit different.
Well, do you remember when Gavin McInnes was on Joe Rogan?
Yeah, that was actually so much fun. That conversation was so much fun.
It was a clash, but it worked.
Yeah. And that's because, like, I think Joe Rogan is really used to being kind of like the alpha presence, you know? But that's what I like about McInnes, is he has such a strong personality, and he is actually pretty smart, and he just has this fucking irreverent attitude about him, which I find so attractive. And, like, shit just bounces off him. So he did this really cool AMA. Well, he did this AMA in the politics Discord. Like, I don't know. I think it was a couple months ago. I listened to that probably, like, 8 to 10 times. It's pathetic. Just because the way that he responds to people and, like, doesn't take shit and, like, has an explanation that makes sense as to why he's not going to put up with stupid fucking questions from people who are like, oh, we need to pay these people reparations or whatever. Like, that's nice to see. He stands up for himself. You know what I mean? And it's not just like, no you.
He does have an answer for everything. He's got
true.
The gift of the gab.
He does.
Like, for sure. And, like, I just, like, because it's what is so interesting for me about Gavin is he'll be talking about a lot of things politically, and I'll agree, but then he'll just say something where I'm like, are you fucking stupid?
Yeah, like the Christian shit. Like when he starts talking about religion and stuff, I'm like, I'm gonna let this go because you're a family guy and you're like, I know you're married to someone who probably comes from like a pretty strict background. Like I think his wife is Asian. You know what I mean? They have pretty strong.
I think she's got some like Native American in her as well.
Oh, okay.
It's some like Native American ceremony or something. He was talking about it, or she just got interested in that shit. But yeah, she's definitely Asian.
Yeah.
She likes Asian girls.
And like, there's no fucking way you're gonna go from being like a staunch atheist and then go right back to religion. And I think when it comes to having a family, I will give him that. It is understandable, right? The easiest way to instill values is by religion. I don't agree with it. I think it's a little bit antiquated, but fine, dude. Like, you have an empire to run. If you need to cut a few corners and get your values from a place that you don't have to work for, I'm fine. I'll forgive you. This is just the balancing act of life.
Oh no, I think it's different with Gavin because
I don't think he actually is, but he does have a very large right-wing subscriber base.
What I think it is he has the conservative suit on, and if he didn't have religion, he'd be missing the tie. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs the full suit, and then also
come closer. Come closer. Thank you.
Basically, yeah, he doesn't have if he needs the conservative suit, and he's missing the tie if he doesn't have the Christianity, and like you say, with the conservative fan base, and also he's into that whole kind of traditional, well, not, he's into that whole thing of like Christianity built the West, when in reality, you know, why would a group of men, i.e. the founding fathers and a lot of the intellectuals that came along with that movement, why would they escape a Europe that was built upon monarchy, which is established by religious thought, the idea that your power is ordained to you by God? Why would they escape that and create their own thing if they thought that, or why would they do that if Western values are built on that thing? You wouldn't escape something that your values as an American were built on if that's what you think. It doesn't make any sense. They, like, the whole idea, like what conservatives seem to always forget is it's freedom of religion and from religion. You know what I mean? That is not a Christian or a Catholic. I mean, the fucking Inquisition, I mean, come on. There was no freedom from religion in Europe at that time.
So, you know what's really interesting? This reminded me of you while I was reading *Sapiens*, because we had that argument last year at some point about how, like, remember how I changed my mind about like I'm not as staunchly against religion in practice anymore.
Yeah.
So in *Sapiens*, Yuval Noah Harari talks about the relationship between science and religion, that they're inseparable. They cannot be separated because they fuel each other. And he gives us explanation as to how. And then he talks about the relationship between science and empire, and that science is actually not as important on its own in history. Science was only made important by political needs and the need for the religious to prove things to substantiate their doctrines. And obviously, over time, they've become unhappy with it because the information that has been produced by science, just from observations and stuff, have negated much of religion and the things that they say or they claim knowledge over. But all these things have worked together and are so intertwined, it's very difficult to separate them. And it's actually, it doesn't logically make sense to separate them. Like, science and exploration was motivated by the idea that people wanted to get out to conquer shit. They sent a few scientists on boats with a lot of Navy and Army personnel, but the purpose was not to do science. The science was like on the back burner. Yes.
It was an afterthought.
The initial motivation was obviously militaristic and imperial, which is cool.
The expansion of empire was motivated by a lot of factors, but one of them was to spread the word of God or their doctrine, their religion, whether it was the Islamic empires or it was the Christian empires. But they needed the breakthroughs from science to be able to either, you know, create better weaponry or navigate the seas better.
Yes.
But they didn't know that, you know, science was like a drip slowly eroding the rock of Christianity. And look at them now. They've been broken down to sand, in my opinion.
I'm thinking of ordering lamb curry, but listen to this description, okay? Boneless baby lamb cooked with Himalayan spices with fresh ginger, garlic, and onions. Why did they have to put the baby in there? That kind of ruins all of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Do you like lamb?
Yeah. That big piece of meat that I showed you was lamb.
Oh, was it? Is that like a common meat in your home?
No, it's only for special occasions.
It is really good. Cleftico is my favorite part of the lamb. What's yours? Cleftico is the shoulder.
I don't know.
Soft braised shoulder is so good. Like, you poke it with a fork and the meat just crumbles right off the bone. And it's like, I love being an animal. I just want to eat animals.
I don't know. Meat gets it put in front of me. I don't care what part of the animal it is. I'll eat it. Like...
Have you ever had like cow tongue?
No.
So that's like something that I've been hearing about lately, and I'm like, that sounds so fucking gross. I'm good with like any other part of the cow. Give me steak, give me ground beef, give me whatever. I can't eat tongue. I can't eat like the heart. Beef heart's a thing. Chicken hearts are a thing, and it's so gross, Sean. They have like one of those little like styrofoam little dish things, and there's just like 20 little hearts in there, and I'm like, what if one of them starts beating, dude? Like, that's fucked.
Well, it's dead, Aimee. I don't think.
I know, but it's just a gross paranoid thought because it looks like something out of a zombie movie where you just like see a handful of hearts just like laying in this styrofoam tin, and I'm like, ew.
Have you ever had black pudding?
No, that's so fucking gross. I am never eating coagulated pig blood. You know, Jay used to fucking say all the time, oh, I'm having me English breakfast and it's so fucking good. I love pig's blood. I'm like, you're gross, dude. You're gross.
It's actually quite nice.
Whatever, man. I don't think so. I get a nosebleed, and that taste that I get of blood just really kind of sickens me. So, like, the idea of it being in, like, a jelly form. Do you like haggis, too? You fucking freak show?
It's alright. It's not my favorite, but yeah.
See? You fucking... British people really do have the worst food, hey?
Fucking bitch.
I mean, a good idea that we did get from you is putting vinegar on fries. That's kind of cool.
Most of the fucking curries you eat are probably British as well.
I don't really eat very much curry, but I appreciate that very racist assumption as I'm about to order lamb curry. I haven't had curry in a long time, though. I don't eat this kind of stuff usually. It's like a treat, you know? It's like, oh my God, I'm going to have some Indian food. I'm so excited. It's like, people are like, what are you going to eat for dinner, Aimee? I'm like, chicken breast and like steamed broccoli. They're like, oh, not aloo gobi? Like, what's wrong with you? Which is just like, it's cauliflower and chunked potatoes that are cooked in like an onion, like a base, basically, right? That has a lot of herbs and spices in it. It's not curry, it's not liquid, but the spices are cooked. They call it tadka. You're learning stuff today.
I like
What?
Scouse.
Scouse? What's that? You mean like you?
It's like it's a Liverpool. Well, it's known. You know, they think it comes from like Norwegian sailors. It was like a broth, and you would cook you basically make a broth and you cook like potatoes, like lamb or like whatever meat you can get, like a bunch of vegetables. You just cook it all, like boil it all in like a broth, and then you just scran it.
That's hella white people food. Stew is the whitest food ever.
Yes. I mean, we've even named people Stew, so
yeah. It's good though. I mean, I don't have any complaints.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. Yeah,
it's not going to be the first. You will definitely outdo yourself with that.
Yeah, my nan used to make it for me all the time after school. It's so good. I haven't had it in years.
Yeah. Nothing's going to beat Nan's cooking, like no matter what. Because she's been doing it for literal years. That hoe cooked through wars, all right? She's gangster as shit.
Well, her mother cooked through wars, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, you know. Okay, she ate through wars, then fine. All right, let's just do this lamb curry. Let's go medium. I'm feeling kind of bold today. I'm going to go with medium, which is probably going to make my fucking mouth burn and my butthole. And then I'm going to it asks if I want rice or naan. I'm going to go with rice, but also I'm going to order one naan on the side because I'm a fucking fat shit.
Bread. Oh.
Nan, yo. Nan, gotta eat that butter naan.
You're making me hungry now.
Ooh, there's tandoori roti. Do you have tandoori roti there? Do you have tandoori there?
Yeah.
What's your experience with Indian food? I want to hear about your experience with Indian food.
Well, I I shit myself.
Did you check the poo chart after you shit yourself? To make sure your poo was healthy?
I didn't know about it then. I don't know, Indian food, like, I'm more about, like, stir fry, like, Chinese, Thai stuff.
Oh, I see. What's your view on Chinese versus Indian girls? Just kidding, I'm kidding.
I don't know, Chinese women are kind of like, I don't know.
They so loud! I'm just kidding. They're really good at nails, and they're always beautiful. Dude, Asian women are so beautiful. They're the most beautiful.
I don't know. Have you been to, like, Scandinavian countries?
Yeah, I've seen those girls. There's something about a tiny little Asian woman that's way more attractive to me than, like, a large Icelandic woman. Like, those people are on average a lot bigger, and, like, I don't know. I'm intimidated by that. I'm not saying they're not pretty, because they're gorgeous. They all look like Scarlett Johansson. You know what I mean? Like, in the face.
I always thought Bjork was pretty.
She's very cute. You know what? She is she's a cutie. Like, she's very pretty. She has a nice face. But because she's so weird, it kind of, like, makes you think, it kind of makes me be like, she's kind of weird. Like, she's weird looking, but she's not. That video you sent me of hers from, I think it was last week or whatever. What a cool, fun video. I really like that. I like that weird shit. That's where I want to be. Like, I want to be comfortable to a point where it's like, I just want to be able to be weird, because I'm such a weird person. And when I'm by myself, I'm totally comfortable being such a fucking weirdo. But, like, I want to be comfortable being like that all the time and not have reservations at all.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what makes those people great.
Yeah, like, just being yourself.
It's a show.
Be yourself. Like in Aladdin, when the genie turned into a bee, remember? You didn't even remember because you haven't seen it in so long. You didn't even know Jasmine was brown.
I haven't seen any Disney films since I was like, God, I don't know, like 10.
10? Yeah, actually. When was the last time I saw a Disney movie? Maybe I'll watch one tonight because I got Disney Plus.
I was gonna say, you have Disney Plus, you see Disney shit all the time.
I don't see it though. I have it. I pay fucking $10 here, $10 there for things just to have them. So if I feel like maybe watching something, I will. In the meantime, I've probably wasted like $80 in the last 8 months because The Mandalorian stopped, right? And that's why I got Disney Plus, is because I like that show. It's a good show. You seen it?
Bill Bae.
Yeah, he's only in one or two episodes. It's interesting to see him.
I've never really been a Star Wars fan.
No, me neither. But I do actually need to watch the prequels. I've never seen them, so.
God, people aren't going to be happy about that.
Yeah, well, who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the last Disney thing I probably saw was like Toy Story or something.
Oh, which one?
Yeah, the first one. I don't think I ever went to see like any of the other ones.
Oh, 2 or 3. 2 and 3 are both really good too.
I remember like one of my mates went to see 3 when we were like 15 or 16. I remember just thinking, what the fuck? It's so gay.
What do you mean, what the fuck?
I mean, watch something a little bit more substantial.
I mean, sometimes, nah. But those movies are emotionally substantial. It's about, like, friends getting lost, and then they go find each other, and friendship. It's like Stranger Things shit. Come on. You're gonna tell me Stranger Things isn't substantial? Why not? The only difference is one is computer generated and one is people.
Hang on. When did I ever say Stranger Things was...
I'm saying the theme is the same because you're saying the Disney movie is not substantial.
Well, the theme can be the same, but the writing won't be as good.
Well, because they're for fucking kids.
Exactly.
Oh.
I mean, you're a kid.
Yeah, kinda. I'm definitely kind of a kid. I haven't watched any of those movies in a while, though. I was going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, but I haven't watched a Disney movie in a long time. I've always wanted to get high on acid and watch Alice in Wonderland, though. Actually, technically, all those Avengers movies are Disney movies, I guess, now. So I guess I'll watch that.
See, that's another thing I don't watch either.
I'm not connected to those movies in the same way that I think people are. I think it's really weird. You know, like, the more you look at the idea that there's, like, adult males who watch these movies and, like, just nerd out, you're like, there's a little bit of, like, immaturity there that...
I think whatever you're into, you're into.
Yeah, exactly.
If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. Like, I don't.
I'm just saying it's indicative of a level of maturity. I'm not saying anything bad or good. It's just an observation.
Yeah, for some of them. I mean, you see that kid that was like...
I mean, I watch kids shit too. But sorry, go ahead. What?
You watch kids shit?
No, like kid shit, like Disney movies. God damn it. I hate you.
Yeah, I think if you're like crying when you watch a Star Wars trailer, like, you've gone too far. I don't care what you're into, but if like you're crying over Star Wars, like,
I want to know what's happening there. What is it that but like I can't get that mad because like I listen to a song and I just get really moved by it. Okay, when I was 12 years old, Britney Spears' Lucky was like, "Oh my god, the plight of this poor star." Oh, like stupid shit. Now like I said, like several songs on the Fragile that I listen to just like give me the goosebumps and make me want to cry. That Find My Way song, every time I listen to it, I don't even know how to explain what it is that like my body just wants to do, but it's like in my head I picture running slowly and there just being so much wind and resistance and I'm still just trying to fucking run through this goddamn wind and it just won't let me go. I'm just trying to find my way.
Yeah. No, like, it's like that's what I mean, like, because...
But how do you can't change what emotionally strikes you, and I guess if it's a Star Wars trailer, it's a fucking Star Wars trailer, right?
I don't know, I just think there's a big difference between, like, you know, listening to some classical music and it makes you feel something, and then watching a Star Wars film. Like, I think there's a big difference there. I can understand with like pop music and stuff, people having the argument, but if you're listening to like and like, I guess it's the same kind of thing. It's storytelling at the end of the day, but like thousands of years of musical history and theory all piled on top of each other, and the fact that I could play Mozart some modern music and he would have a reaction to it, but if he showed like an actor from that time, if he showed them Star Wars, like, they wouldn't have any reference. But music, whatever point in time you're from, there's always a reference. There's always that reference there of just pure emotion from sound. It's on another level, in my opinion. People can say I'm wrong, and I probably am in a lot of ways.
Anyways, aside from all the shit you're talking, that new track that you released, are you gonna work on it more? Like, because you said early release. It's so fucking good, man. Like, it's just a cool vibe. Like, the song has a dope vibe to it. It's like, yeah, I can feel cool listening to this. Like, yeah, you just woke up and it was like, that's the thing I got.
No, I was trying to make, I was just trying to make beats, and I came up with this beat with like I chopped up this sample of this like cool kind of.
So that beginning part with that, what is the instrument that?
It's like an organ.
That's not you. That's the sample.
No, it's a sample, yeah. And then so I chopped up a sample of this like kind of cool 60s sound and almost like a 60s like TV show intro, which is like that weird organ. I chopped up that, and then I chopped up these Italian choir boys singing, and then I put that over a beat, just a drum beat, and then that was all I had. I thought it was kind of cool sample, you know, and then the bass line came, and then that was when the whole song came. And I think I'm gonna have to come up with another verse, and I have to change things up a little bit to not make it so repetitive.
I like the repetition of it because it's just like such a pleasant combination. that I don't know if you even need to really do anything. You
Well, no,
probably could.
it wouldn't be like anything really obvious. It would just be like slight changes just to keep the ear interested.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, of course. So it would be the same bass, but you would just make like alterations because that's a lot of Trent too. Like there will just be repeating loops, but every loop has like something additional to it. So you have to listen closely though. Like that's what's the thing about it.
Exactly. Like the choir boys in the second chorus. I actually was using 2 samples of the choir boys, but the rest of the song it's just one.
I love it. I can't believe you made that and that came out of your brain. Don't you feel cool?
Yeah.
Don't you feel like I'm so cool? If I made that, I'd be like, bitch, I'm the coolest ever. Y'all ain't shit. But maybe it's because I'm just more arrogant.
No, when I came up with the bass line, like I was really like vibing with it, like I really felt it. But it's once you like, because you hear it for the first time complete, like when you've gone through it all and like you mixed it and you've heard it 100 times, it loses that impact a little bit. So
I don't know. I mean, for you, for sure.
yeah, for me, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? That's a thing that I find that I gotta fight, and I'm not even at a point where I'm repeating the process so many times where it's getting to that point. But there is a part of me that's just like slightly nervous that if I just keep hearing the same loops again and again and again, I'm just gonna drive myself crazy. But at the same time, like you have to. Like if you really want to refine it and do something to it, you have to. If you want to add something here or there or take this away or that away, you have to do it.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's like I realize now there's a bunch of things in there. Like, I mean, I mixed it way too loud. You know, I need to go back and pull the faders down, and then, you know, then I need to remaster it, add some things, add a different verse.
Look at this shit. It looks awful. I'm trying to get a picture and it's all whited out. I look so white right now. It's so funny. I'm like a ghost. I'm gonna send you that.
You're like, oh, I finally look like a ghost.
I'm whiter than you right now. In here.
I'm practically see-through. You'll never be whiter than me.
That's all right. For now. Selfie! Okay, well, maybe we should get out of here. I want to take you outside with me.
Okay, then.
All right. I'll call you in a minute.
All right,
and that
bye,
concludes
everybody.
another episode of Bangers and Mash. Okay, bye!